The following program is an MLWRadio.com production.
It's Christmas time.
It is indeed, and that means a lot of our listeners are probably trying to figure out, hey man, where can I get a really nice gift at an affordable price? If you're looking for something for the lady in your life, man, $8.com is the place to be. Bruce, have you checked out $8.com yet?
As a matter of fact, I have, but I'm a little bit confused. How much is the stuff over there at $8.com?
It's $8. That's right, $8. So this is the perfect place to get all of your Christmas shopping done for the women in your life. And I'm talking to you. You know who you are. You're wondering, what am I going to get my sister? What am I going to get the ladies at the office? What am I going to get my aunts? What am I going to get my cousins? This gets expensive. Well, not at $8.com. You can get high quality gifts at a very affordable price. They like to call it affordable elegance. They've got a ton of stuff on the site, lots of different colors, and it's just $8. We're talking about stunning hoop earrings, elegant stud earrings, an infinity double circle necklace, a cross infinity statement ring, all kinds of bangle bracelets and stacker jewelry. It's everything you need to look like you spent a fortune. But it's our secret. You only spent $8. $8.com, Bruce.
But here's the scary thing is my daughter's already been on the site and she's picked out basically every pair of earrings on this site.
Well, you're in luck because everything is $8. This doesn't get any easier than this. Give a great gift, look like you spent a fortune, and it's our secret. You only spent $8 at $8.com. That's the number $8.com.
This is too easy.
$8.com.
Hey everyone, it's Tony Schiavone, and before we continue here this week, just a moment to say all of us here at What Happened When are shocked and saddened on the death of Tom Zenk. We've had a lot of fun over the past 11 months with the Z-Man, and much of it was sincere. I always thought Tom had the look and the ability to be a big star in wrestling, but sadly that never happened. He was also a very nice guy, great guy, and I always enjoyed talking with him in my early days at WCW. We had hoped to have him join us on an episode of WHW, but he had stayed out of the public eye and wasn't really easy to track down. So on behalf of myself and our entire staff at WHW, Conrad Thompson, Matt Kuhn, Dave Silva, our thoughts go out to Tom Zenk and his entire family. Our prayers are with him at this time. Tom Zenk passes away on December 9th at age 59.
Up in wrestler heaven, here's the thing. You trade your boots for angel wings. And once we've all said goodbye, you jump on the top rope and you learn to fly. Bye to the Z-Man. Won't see you again in my lifespan. Bye to the Z-Man. You're 5,000 hot tags in the room. Though we will miss you every day, we know you're with your Robbinsdale classmates. And here's the part that hurts everywhere. When I reach for the hot tag and you're not there. Bye to the Z-Man. Won't see you again in my lifespan. Bye to the Z-Man. You're 5,000 hot tags in. Everybody sing bye to the Z-Man. Won't see you again in my lifespan. Bye to the Z-Man. You're 5,000 hot tags in the ring. Maybe someday we'll see you work again. And I know we'll always miss our good-looking friend.
Welcome to WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett for Starrcade, 605 NWA. TV title, Cajun Omni, the Bunkhouse Stampede. Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Teams. Turner, Bonnet, Mid-South Joint World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and friends North they win. Look, Schiavone's back again. World title split off center stage. Bischoff, Disney, Hogan, and Nitro. New World Order and the Crow. Thunder, Russo, Arquette, Champ, Vinnie, Mac, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classic podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules can't pass. This wasn't the initial plan. Tom Zenk's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a chair. Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when?
WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? Monday on the MLW Radio Network, and the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, although we are a little sour after last week's episode. Tony Schiavone, what's going on, man? How are you?
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in all the stores. Get your Lowe's Rules t-shirt now. Your Klondike Bill open now. How you doing, bud?
And Tom Zenk was a good-looking man.
Yes, he was.
Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you hanging with us after last week's shit show. Starrcade 1991. Is it the worst pay-per-view of all time, Tony Schiavone?
Don't ever do that to me again. Don't ever say we're going to do a battle bowl to that. Don't know. Yes, it was.
Well, I mean, we got to do one next year for 92, right?
No.
I mean, this
we're
is
battle bowl out, motherfucker. Battle bowled out.
It's like a lump of coal in the stocking, and it's interesting because it drew well, so they did it again. But as far as critical acclaim, worst shit ever, feels like it.
Yeah, I felt like it was the worst shit ever, but then that's just me. But you know what? You have to take the good with the bad. For instance, the show that we're about to watch, Starrcade 99. I watched it. You know what first thing I thought about after it was over with?
Drinking.
Well, that too. And I don't drink. I thought about, we did a lot of bad shit, but there were some good things in the show. And I would say this, that it was every bit as good as some of the pay-per-views we see on the WWE right now.
Really?
Yeah.
This show we're about to watch.
Right. With the exception of the end. Look, there were some good things in this show.
Sure.
And some of the stuff that the WWE puts out right now is not that good, right?
I would agree.
So, I just thought it was every bit as good as some of the stuff we put out now. That's just my thought.
Well, we're happy that you're with us. We're going to get right into it. No filibustering today. We're going to get right to Starrcade 1999. As a reminder, next week we're going to be covering the Go Home episode of Nitro for Starrcade 97. So pull up Nitro on your WWE network with us next week and watch December 22nd, 1997 Nitro, and then on the 20th anniversary. And Tony, I don't know if you've ever noticed this. We're doing this from a home theater. Look what is to my left and has been here as long as you've known me.
Wow, I didn't know it was there.
It's a poster from the original Starrcade 1997. It went down on Sunday, December 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to bring you the Starrcade 97 show as an added little bonus, not replacing a show, but a little bonus on December 28th of this year. It's going to drop at 7 o'clock Eastern. That's PM. So instead of waking up with Tony and I, you'll still get to do that Monday, and you're going to do it for the Go Home Nitro. But then in the middle of the week, on December 28th, tune in at 7 p.m. and watch along with us and relive those great memories.
Relive the great memories of when we started to go downhill.
What's the biggest pay-per-view of all time to that point?
Right.
For you guys. So let's go ahead and have you fire up the WWE Network right now. And of course, it's Tony and I most of the way, but we do have a little partner we like to sneak in here with us.
Yes, we do.
And we're going to throw it to her in just a minute. But first, I want to tell you, Tony, this show sold not as many tickets as the last two, but if you're looking for a hard-to-get ticket this season, the place to go is to get a SeatGeek download. Go ahead and download the SeatGeek app. Tony did it for the Rose Bowl. I did it for the Sugar Bowl. And you should do it for the football games, for the wrestling events, for the concerts, for the plays, just about for anything, right, Tony?
And SeatGeek is a sponsor of this edition of What Happened When. Buying tickets to sports and concerts can be complicated, as you know, Conrad, and also confusing. But there's a better way to do it, and that, of course, is with SeatGeek. And we've got a great special for all of our listeners who are listening to What Happened When here in this December. Listeners get $20 off their first SeatGeek purchase. You got to download the SeatGeek app. That's what I've done. That's what Conrad's done. Enter the promo code What Happened. That's What Happened. That's promo code What Happened. WHATHAPPENED. One word for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. We both love it, don't we?
I love it because here's what I love most about it. They scour all the other ticket sites. They put it all in one deal for me, so I can tell them how many tickets I need, what my budget is, and it's actually going to tell me, based on my needs, here are your best tickets. They give you a clear rating. You know exactly what it's going to be, and when you click on the tickets, you can actually see your view, right, Tony?
See the view of where your seat is as it pertains to the let's say, the football field or the arena, or where you're sitting as far as a theater or concert is concerned. That's the best place to go. There's nothing easier than getting a ticket with SeatGeek. So make sure you join us for SeatGeek. What Happened is your promo code, $20, $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Download the app today.
It's free, the SeatGeek app, and save $20. This pay-per-view comes with a little disclaimer at the front. So after your commercial airs, we're going to go with the disclaimer, and we're going to start the show to include the disclaimer this week. Are you ready, Tony?
I'm ready.
All right. You think she's ready?
Well, if she be sober, she be ready.
3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Play.
Thank you, sweetheart. You're looking so good today. The following program presented its original form. TVMA, that means V for violence.
I thought that was interesting that they threw this in here. We get a special extra warning here saying that it's MA, explicit language, adult themes, violence, may not be suited for those under 18. So we get two separate warnings. So here we go with the show.
All right, and this is the tradition Starrcade, and this is the voice of, by the way, Scott Hudson doing the voiceover, talking about all the different matches. Hacksaw Jim Duggan going up against the Revolution, and of course Hacksaw doing a great job of being the janitor as well, and the Revolution doing their Cuban impression. Sting and Lex Luger, and of course Sting fighting for the honor of Miss Elizabeth. Boy, was she so beautiful. This is Harlem Heat and Midnight. The crazy David Flair. I've seen David lately. He looks as crazy now as he used to. And Ming and Storm and Norman Smile. Norman was so good at that. Jeff Jarrett, he had a bunkhouse stampede match against the natural Dustin Rhodes, who's coming back from his first incarnation as Goldust. The Mamalukes will be in there against Lash LaRue, who, by the way, as we know, Lash LaRue ruined our business. And Oki from Muskogee. He looked good, didn't he? Against Vampiro. Evan Courageous. Next. Oh, hello, Medusa. Did I ever tell you I was in love with Medusa?
We've heard that.
And then, of course, the Powerbomb match, the two biggest men, and that is, of course, Kevin Nash, Big Sexy, and Sid Vicious. And then for the World Championship, soon to end his career, Bill Goldberg, to end the career of the one and only Bret Hart. Now, that was that, and now we got to watch another open.
Weird.
Was this the WWE just sticking this on this?
It feels really weird.
It
No,
does
that's
feel
the way
weird.
that's the way it happened.
And so we had the commercial, and then we have the logo, the shitty logo, the vagina logo, and then we've got this open, which is actually pretty cool, don't you think? Compare this to the logo open that we had for the one we did last week in 91. And I know this is 8 years later, but as you can see, graphics and a little bit of coolness have crept into WCW a little bit better, right?
No doubt. It's interesting, though, that last week's pay-per-view, although it was awful, set a pay-per-view record for WCW. This, however, going to be one of the worst buy rates in company history. It's a 0.3. Last week, of course, we covered Starrcade 91 Battle Bowl. It got a 1.2. They had 9,000 seats filled for Starrcade 91. Here we've got 8,582 paid. The gate, though, is much larger, $362,550. So still a decent gate, but way, way down from Starrcade 98, where you guys beat Goldberg, which I'm sure we're going to cover next year.
And this was the MCI Center in downtown Washington, D.C., of course, and this was Starrcade. And your broadcast team, Tony Schiavone, Scott Hudson, and Bobby the Brain Heenan, we are all going to be at ringside. MCI Center became a pretty good place for us, and a good venue for us. And it's amazing when you think about it. Bret Hart, one of the biggest stars ever, to face Goldberg, certainly a guy that was one of our biggest stars, and we did such a terrible buy rate.
What I think is interesting about this show open is usually they start with something from the announcers.
Yep.
And we don't see you guys here. Instead, we go right to the matches, and out comes show favorite, Mr. Disco Inferno, who's been a little bit of a baby face and putting his goofy leopard print hat on a kid in the crowd. Pretty cool little Disco there.
Absolutely. We see the fans, and this is going to be a kind of an extension of a angle between the Disco Inferno owing Tony Marinara's dad, the Big Pop or whatever he was, some money. So he brought out his Mamalukes, Johnny the Bull, and Big Vito to take care of him. And, of course, who else would Disco have but his partner, but then the kid, the Cajun himself, Lash LaRue.
Does this feel like the most thrown together tag team ever?
Yes.
Of Disco and Lash?
Yes, it does.
I mean, can you describe? I need you to call this entrance from Lash. This is something else.
Okay. Woo! I'm Lash LaRue. Ooh, look at them sideburns. And I'm going to go too sweet over there. No, I'm going to go over here. Ooh, give me somebody. I'm going to give somebody my beads. Yes, sir. I'm so cool. What, dude? Look at my sideburns. Fuck, he was fucked up, wasn't he?
From Alabama, believe it or not.
Is he really?
I think he's from like Anniston or Gadsden or somewhere there.
Yeah, boy. Wonder if he was an Auburn fan.
Got to be an Auburn fan.
To look like that.
And it's a shame, because as we've discussed on the show before, had he just dropped a few pounds and you dropped a few pounds, WCW would still be in business.
Absolutely. So there you go. Goes back to this. And now, here they come. Tony Marinara bringing in his hit squad, Johnny the Bull.
And he trips on the entrance trying to look cool.
Yeah, he tripped all over himself. More ways than one.
Oh, that's interesting that you say that, because I found him to be entertaining in ECW. He really hams it up for the camera. I thought he had good facials.
He did.
He was a bump machine. He would take anything from you.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you down on Tony Mamaluke?
I just think that I think I think I'm more down on the angle than I am him. Okay. Because look, this is an angle. This is an angle pulled out of an Italian American.
So you got heat over the Italian side.
Well, it's an Italian American typecast. Okay, is what it is, and it works if you're really going to kill somebody, but not in a wrestling match. Okay, let's see, really breaks his thumb, collecting to break the thumb. But as we see, they look like they're trying to kill the Disco Inferno here. So it just didn't work. So nothing about Tony Marinara, nothing about Big Vito, who I really liked, and nothing about Johnny the Bull.
Big Vito has a podcast now. Did you hear that?
Does he really?
Did you know about it?
No. Does everybody?
Nobody else did either.
Yeah. Does everybody have a podcast now in wrestling?
Yes, including Tony Schiavone and the Mortgage Guy.
Oh my gosh.
So again, this is WCW's biggest pay-per-view of the year. And just a few years prior to this, you guys would open with like, Eddie Guerrero matches or Rey Mysterio matches or Jushin Liger matches, Otani matches. Here, we got Lash LaRue.
Yeah. Well, here we're in the Vince Russo era. Vince has always said he wants to give a little bit of something for everybody in the matches. And to his credit, we've got a storyline here. And I'm big about storylines. Hey, do we have any storylines at all in the last pay-per-view we did?
No, and that's what I wanted to mention. You started off saying you weren't really hot on this because you thought it was a silly angle, but all I could think was at least it was something.
It was exactly
last week's episode with 91. But historically, a lot of times the WCW opener on pay-per-views would not necessarily be a big heated feud. It would instead be these guys doing like a high-flying cruiserweight match.
Right.
So maybe there wasn't a hot issue, but there was definitely a hot match.
Yeah, and it was an issue, as you can tell from the fans, they're really not buying. Now, if you go back, fans, and you listen to this thing with the actual commentary, you're going to hear two things here. You're going to hear this be sweetened. They're going to pump in the crowd noise, okay, to the point to where it's silly.
You thought they were doing that live.
They were doing it live, okay? And you'll hear that you may listen to this and say, you know what? Ooh, I can hear Scott Hudson, and I can hear Bobby the Brain Heenan, but I can't hear Schiavone that well.
Why is that?
I wonder why. I wonder if there was a couple of people in the truck who had it in for me.
Well, don't play games.
No,
Who
I'm
had it
playing
in for
games.
you?
It wasn't Keith Mitchell. I know that. He's a straight-up guy, but I have a feeling there were a couple of guys in the truck that had it out for me and wanted me to sound as shitty as I could. And here comes the Disco Inferno, running over Johnny the Bull. Here comes a cover. Billy Silverman down, Sarah Silverman's twin brother, and he calls the break and gets the other guy out. So that's two things to look out for if you watch it with the sound.
Nobody's going to do that.
But no, they're not. But listen to some snips of it. Of course, you're going to have a much better time listening to it, watching it along with us and the Disco Inferno, who certainly gets it doesn't get enough credit for being. We've mentioned this before, a very good performer.
I feel like we should mention right here that Russo did something not a lot of people have done. I think we've told the story before that George Scott helped put together a lot of the early Starrcade productions, and then he was a big part of WrestleMania. But here in the same calendar year, Vince Russo would ruin WrestleMania 15 in 1999. And then just a handful of months later, he would ruin WCW's WrestleMania, Starrcade 99. So single-handedly,
Wow.
Vince Russo managed to ruin the two biggest shows from the two biggest companies in the world.
You're blaming Vince Russo for ruining. What did he ruin about WrestleMania in '99?
Well, they hung the big boss man.
Okay.
Hung him.
Like
With a noose
wow.
from the ceiling.
Okay. That's not good.
It's kind of stupid.
Yeah. And
Now, that being said, I like Vince. We've talked about this before. You like Vince.
oh yeah, a lot.
We're busting balls, and go ahead and tattle. I know the Vince Russo army is out.
Right.
Tag me in your hate tweets. I don't give a shit. Hey, it's Conrad.
Well, look,
This show sucked.
this show sucked.
Yeah.
Okay. There were some things about the show I liked.
You like the fucking finish that we're going to cover in a minute?
You mean the end of the show?
main event?
No. I don't.
Well, that's why you buy pay-per-views, Tony.
Hey, you can't tell me that ladder match wasn't damn good. That we're getting ready to see.
I'm not saying there's not good stuff on the show.
Exactly. You can't.
But I'm saying if your takeaway is, holy fuck that finish of the main event.
I know. Yeah, I agree. So anyway, we'll get to that. But right now, Johnny the Bull with a reverse chin lock applied on the Disco Inferno. A great vertical base here. I'm just kind of warming up, for my next MLW appearance.
Yeah, if you'd like to hear Tony in action calling real matches and not being a slapdick about it, check him out at MLW.tv. Are you happy now, Court?
And we also got another event coming up in January, 0 Hour.
Yeah, and you can buy your tickets at MLWradio.com. Mm-hmm. Is that good, Court?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here we go. And here's Big Vito and Johnny the Bull. Double team. Ooh, yikes.
Have you ever had somebody do that to you?
No, I'm not. Have you?
No. So Vito here gets a little bit of a bad rap, but I always felt Vito, and I know he normally works as an underneath guy.
Yeah.
Vito was always a solid performer for what he was. You know,
Yes,
there's lots of players that you need to put on a show.
Yeah.
And you need everybody to play their role. And I thought Vito did a great job in his role.
I agree. Vito was a hardworking kid, and
even in ECW, you know, when he was working as an underneath guy, he managed to get heat from the crowd. And so one of the things I liked is a lot of people online would say, "Oh, he had go away heat." And I'm like, well, are you booing? Because that's kind of the idea.
exactly.
Like that means he's doing his job.
Exactly. Ooh, double team. Great double team maneuver. A rockabye baby. Also, I'd like to say here that I thought Heenan was kind of. This is one of the last pay-per-views Heenan did.
Heenan had given up here.
Yes, I was getting ready to say
Heenan in this. I actually watched this with the sound this week, and I felt like Heenan just didn't give a shit.
No, he didn't. And Scott Hudson, one of the great guys, one of my good friends, really worked hard to try to make it a good show.
I felt like Scott Hudson was trying to put on the performance of his lifetime. He was trying to really make sure that he was a contributor. And, and look at all the empty seats here.
I know. Because it's early on and people don't give a shit about this match. Second time DeVito's done that. And this, this was silly because why waste so much time up there? That's not good. If you're trying to portray this as being real, you don't do that shit. Okay. And he missed, and here comes Lash LaRue. Now, if I want to tag in someone who's going to win the match for me, it sure would be Lash LaRue.
I would rather tag in the referee.
Okay. And Lash going to the attack. He is from Alabama, by the way.
By the way, Lash is a great guy. I've actually met Lash a few times.
Oh, of course he is.
We're just having fun.
We give everybody on our podcast shit. And we don't mean it with the exception of Evan Courageous.
I appreciate you clarifying. I just feel like sometimes people, like whenever I say Brutus the fucking barber beefcake, and I say it with a little more disdain.
Right.
People are like, what's the heat, bro?
Yeah.
Man, we're trying to make you laugh.
The heat, bro, is between your ears, guys.
We're trying to make you laugh. It's not that serious.
Jesus.
Johnny the Bull looks like the prototype for a wrestler that, we would see in the WWF during the 2000s, does he not?
Right. Sure it does. Absolutely. Short haircut, big thick neck, right?
Abs.
Big broad shoulder, abs, absolutely. Big traps, absolutely he does. And now he just hammering it with Lash. Ooh, Lash with that. Now, was that a great move or what?
Well, and then
you can go ahead and say what. Okay.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
How about the pineapple wheelie haircut he's sporting here? It feels like he and The Rock from a couple years prior to this went to the same barber or just had the same Flowbee.
Pineapple Willie?
Yeah. Look at the empty seats in the front row.
I know. Oh, that's right. Jump up on top, dumbass. Good move.
By the way, how about that decision to do that move, the top rope leg drop? He actually did that off the top rope to the floor, broke his fucking tailbone. Did you see that? It was for you guys. You remember that?
I don't remember that. He broke his tailbone?
God. Yeah, he could have been paralyzed. I mean, I know that you're young and you're jacked up and you're on TV and you're in good shape and you think you're just going to fucking live forever.
Right.
Some of this stuff is like, God, is this worth it?
Well, it's the same thing that I told the kids back in MLW's Never Say Never. All the stuff looks good, guys, but what's your longevity?
Right.
As far as being in this business.
Well, not just in this business, being a functioning adult.
Right, exactly.
I mean, you can't turn your neck now, and it's not from doing a top rope leg drop to the floor.
Right. Exactly.
It's from, trying to 69 with Lois.
Wow.
On the edge of that mahogany bed back in 97.
Whoa, back to the match we go, and Lash LaRue missed. And he, oh my God.
Blockbuster! Blockbuster!
Oh, God. A cover. 1, 2, Lash LaRue does the job. Oh, yeah. And now here comes the part that kind of morphs into an alternate reality. They are going to put him, they're going to give him ether. There you see Jackie Crockett still running camera. They're going to bring the ether. They're going to knock his ass out. They're going to put him in a body bag. Then they're going to put him in the back of a car as if they're going to kill him.
Well, thanks for the spoiler. What are we going to talk about now that hasn't happened?
Well,
I just thought well, let's call it like we've never seen it before.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, what are they trying to do? What's Tony Marinara up to here, Conrad?
I don't know, but he took his watch off, Tony, and that's not a good sign in the mob family.
Oh my God. Something in the case. Maybe it's the money that he owes. Maybe he's got to sign a check. Whatever it is, he can't get out of the, it's a,
Botchamania!
Oh no, it's a life preserver. No, it's a garbage. It's
a body bag from the WWF.
It's a body bag. Mike, it's a body bag. Are they going to try to kill him? Are they going to try to actually kill him?
Oh, he's got his nose. Three Stooges style, Tony. The deadly got his nose.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's using nitro cologne on him.
Oh my God.
It's nitro. You can smell it from here. It stinks.
Oh God. He's
wide awake, but
out.
Not.
He's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead. So, they've killed a guy. Call the police.
Wait a minute. I just figured it out. That wasn't ether.
What?
It was J.J. Dillon's podcast. Disco is out cold.
He's been Rich Bokini'd. Roll him out. There you go. Yeah, okay.
Nobody's standing perfectly still, but asleep.
All right. That's it. Thank God. Now we'll go to our next match here in just a moment. And our next match is going to be one that I'm sure you fans will like, since you didn't like that one at all. Wait a minute. Shh. Hey, I'm talking here, motherfucker. Don't tell me to shut up. Okay. What is our... Okay, shouldn't we go to the next match? What? Wait a second.
We're going to stay with them, Tony.
All right, guys.
What are they going to the graveyard?
I don't know. I guess they are because he's dead.
Disco's been burying guys online for years. Are they going to bury Disco?
Well, they dropped him. Oh, my God. Call the police. They've committed murder. He's alive.
Oh, Glenn's alive, but his career's dead.
Yeah, he's alive. He's alive. Now they're going to try to kill him again. What are they going to try to do? Where are they going? What? Oh, my. There's a
surge cooler. Where did they get that surge cooler?
It's a Cadillac with Virginia license plates. That must be one of my uncle's Cadillacs. Oh, they put him in their trunk. Now they're going to kill him for sure.
Oh, my goodness. They're on their way to the WWF. Nope. Tony Mama Luke doesn't have a driver's license, boys and girls.
Next stop, Stanford, Titan Towers.
He went reverse before drive. How does that happen? Now, is this a tribute to Gorilla that we see Bobby doing here with the colored glasses?
It could be, and it should be.
Did Lois dress you here?
No, I thought I looked pretty nice here, don't you?
I'm not arguing that. I just asked if she dressed you here. You got the 3-button jacket like you like it, the wide lapels.
Mm-hmm.
How about your hair? You've dropped some LBs too. Maybe WCW's going to be around.
Yeah. Drop some LBs, but I'll pick it up next year. I always do. I always go up and down, up and down.
So at this point, were you just eating salad and to go with the bullshit you were calling here?
You know, I'm a lifetime member of Weight Watchers. Did you know that?
How do you become a lifetime member?
You be a fat ass most of your life.
Oh, so I qualify.
You qualify. Then you just gotta spend enough money to where they consider you a lifetime member. I'm a lifetime member. And this is not an endorsement of Weight Watchers at all because they don't spend money on our podcast.
Well, and clearly it doesn't work if you've seen Tony and MLW.TV.
Clearly. Thank you very much.
So you guys are talking about Sid Vicious and Bill Goldberg and sort of running down the card, but you normally do that at the top of the show. Why was the decision made instead to go right into the marinara business?
I think they wanted to start out hot, and I agree with that. I like this.
No, I like that too.
Yeah.
I just wonder,
Well, this was...
why not have some cruisers on there?
This is maybe a Craig Leathers decision to do this. Who knows? He was more or less the executive producer at that time.
Scott Hudson, do you think all in all, he was, is it just timing? Is that the reason he didn't have a bigger role in WCW?
Well, he had a full-time job, and this was a part-time gig for him. I don't think he would have taken a full-time job in WCW.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to.
Yeah. Wasn't going to last long, that's for sure. But now he's talking. Now I'm looking. What I'm looking at. Let's go. Are we going to go back to the ring? Or where are we going to?
Yeah, we got Benoit's music here.
Okay.
I guess we should mention here, this is the third year in a row that we're seeing Starrcade at the MCI Center. And we've talked a little bit in the past about how often you guys like to run sort of the same building for the same thing. Why do you think Starrcade was, or DC was chosen for Starrcade in this era?
Because, well, that would have to be a Gary Juster question. But again, a lot of times buildings were run because of the deals they worked out with the arenas and availabilities. There's no really pat answer to this. Does that make any sense to you?
Yep.
I mean, and look, Benoit looks pretty damn awesome here, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah. It's hard to see him on these TV shows.
I agree. It's, given that you guys knew him and all that we've heard from those who knew him, and then the way it all sort of went down, it's, you're really not sure how to feel.
Yeah.
This is Scott Hudson's first time announcing a pay-per-view. How do you think he did?
Thought he did a great job.
Especially for the first outing.
Yeah.
I don't know that you would know it was his first one unless I told you that. We should talk a little bit more about Vince Russo, I guess, because you can see his fingerprints are all over this with the silliness of the body bag and the trunk and the marinara and blah, blah, blah. And now, instead of there being a match right now, there's a promo on a pay-per-view.
Right.
He had only been in a few months prior to this. I believe he comes down in October. And you've mentioned before that you guys got along and he was a big supporter of yours.
Right.
At this point, even though the creative is much different from what we've seen in WCW in the past, it has to feel like he would have had a lot of support in the locker room. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, absolutely. He had a lot of support production-wise, too, I think. Vince did. And that's a good look right there.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, great shot. He had a lot of production value because Vince had a very organized production, maybe something that we did not have leading up to that much of. So he had a lot of support, Vince did, in production because they'd like for him to sit down and completely go over the entire show, which is, he ran meetings kind of like the way Vince McMahon ran meetings.
Right.
Russo did. I appreciated that because I had been there for a year, and I think production appreciated that too.
Meltzer wrote that Russo was already facing a lot of criticism. Did he ever talk to you about his booking philosophy or how he planned to sort of compete with the WWF?
Never talked to me about any plans that he had. No.
Well, one of the things that happens is...
What? I'm sorry. Oh, God.
What do you think's going on with those gimmicks right there?
I don't know, but man, they wanted to escape, don't they? Yikes.
What do you think that is, though, for real? Is that like a G?
I don't know. I'm not thinking about that right.
It's really ridiculous. Should we call her?
No, I don't think she should. She's just, no, I don't want to call her.
Well, I think we should call her and ask her.
I love her.
Oh, you're going to get in trouble if we call her. I get it. Okay, sorry.
All right.
Trying to keep the marriage alive.
Okay, so there. Now, Evan Courageous will come out with really another one of my favorites. One of my favorite Nitro girls of all time, Spice. Absolutely.
How jealous are you of Evan Courageous here?
Yeah, pretty jealous. He's holding Spice's hand, and he's going to go up against Medusa. I'm pretty jealous right now. Melissa was a great dancer, too.
I assume that Spice's real name, Melissa?
Melissa, yeah. Sure is. Oh, my God.
This is WCW.
Oh, my God.
What an interesting open this is. Of course, Evan Courageous is having to stall here.
Yeah, baby.
Boom.
Jump on him. Pound him hit him. Hit that sumbitch. Hit him again. Slap. What the hell? You better not grab her. Don't you throw her anywhere. What the? Now, that's just not right. That's just not right, sumbitch. Oh, boy. Now you go. Atta girl. There you go. Yeah. Head first to the steel steps. That's what I like to see.
Is she wrestling barefoot right now?
I'm not looking at her feet. Now she's telling me to get in the ring. I just don't know how she can stay together here. She is wrestling barefoot, as a matter of fact. Okay. Okay, strip all this away. She's a tough gal. She really is.
Yeah, and Evan just punched her in the face.
Well, as we say, she wanted this match. She got in the ring. Okay.
Can you imagine them trying to do this shit today?
No, not at all. This is not going to be this. this show is not going to be that's not going to be the only time you see a woman get hit in the show during this match.
Why do you think Vince Russo? I mean, I guess this is heat, but do you think that's it? It's just like the lowest common denominator of heat?
I guess it is. I don't know.
She's very concerned about the gimmicks coming
out. Wouldn't you be?
No, I'm not concerned about it.
If they were yours, you would be. Okay. She just, look at this. She's tough, man. Yeah, get your ass up. Look at her.
I mean, that's got to be about 20 pounds.
I don't know what to say. Double leg drop kick from the middle turnbuckle. Stomping on Evan Courageous.
Let me swing by KFC and get us a 2-piece. Fast.
Okay. And
how nice of that was Courageous to grab her by the leg instead.
Yeah, that was.
If that was a dude, he's getting a handful of bologna, as you like to say. How did you describe Billy Gante last week?
roll of bologna.
A roll of bologna.
Yeah.
Powerbomb.
Powerbombed her ass. Okay. Yeah. Doing some talking to her. Don't you talk to that nice lady like that? 1, 2. Look at this. It takes 2 to be able to power out of that. Great maneuver. Good job, Evan. I give you a lot of shit, but great job there. I'd love to be Evan right now. Oh, and a pickup. Oh!
Holy
and a power
shit.
driver.
Can you believe she saved that? That looked like that could have been disaster. I thought she was going to peg him.
Picks him up. Over the top. What's he doing here? Oh! From the top rope. What is he doing now? Oh, my God. He's going up top, Conrad. He's going up top on down on Medusa. From the top rope. And brings her back in.
Here comes Spice. What's going on?
Spice going up top, man. Spice, Evan, come here, baby. Come here, baby. I want to talk to you. Come here. Yeah, I want to talk to you. Come here, Evan. No. Come here. I know, honey. But I just want to talk to you because you're so good. You're such a shitty wrestler, but I love you. You're like the worst wrestler in WCW, but I still love you, Evan. Can I just kind of stroke you right here? Oh, boink! Ah, you dumbass. Never trust a woman. Belly to back. 1, 2, 3. Guess what? She's the champ. Woo-hoo. Yeah, baby, you tell him. That's my girl. She's the new Cruiserweight champ.
I guess we should mention here, this is just not too long after China had won the Intercontinental title. So WCW, the person who booked that, I guess, probably also thinks that having a woman win the belt in WCW, a man's belt in WCW, is good for business. And that's hard to argue. And I guess we should give Medusa a shout out. Her suplex on Evan Courageous was fucking legit. The bridge, the whole deal.
Yeah.
Now, what does this mean that's going on here, Tony?
I don't know. I was looking and waiting.
I mean, if you're thinking what I'm thinking, and I'm thinking what you're thinking, she's licking her lips.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
And now Champ Bailey. All right, let's take a look. Norman Smiley, you've got a hardcore match coming up later on tonight, and I want to talk to you about this hardcore match because you are a chicken dick. Me, a chicken dick? I'm not scared of anything at all, Mean Gene. Nothing in the world scares me at all. I'm the bravest. Well, what the fuck? Oh, it was Lois. Was that Lois Schiavone? Yeah, I believe it was. Look at that ugly face. Holy shit. She had boobs down around her knees. Yes, down around her knees. Scared the shit out of me. I thought it was Halloween, but I know it's Starrcade. Are we off the air? Yes, we're off the air. Okay. Would you move out of the way? What? I smell something. You smell? You shit your pants. I shit my pants. You shit your pants. I shit my pants. You shit your pants. It sounded something like that, I believe.
Thank you for that.
All right.
That's what I'm going to enjoy most about this show compared to 91 is we got backstage interviews.
Yes, we got something to talk about.
And here's something to talk about.
Yeah.
Ming.
Yeah, Ming is going to come out. And here, I have to say that this is one hell of a hairdo. Huh?
It looks like Matt Coon in the morning.
I guess it does, although Matt Coon in the morning still is not out of bed.
You know what? I guess we should
Lazy
mention
ass
now
Matt
that
Coon.
whenever I see hair flopping like that,
Yeah.
I can't help but think of the way Ric Flair likes his ladies.
Mm-hmm.
No hair, no flair.
Absolutely.
He wants to take a candlelight down there and have to blow on it to find the seam. Like he's looking for an old treasure map.
Blow on it to find. Did you say? Did you say blow on it to find the seam? Oh God!
Is that not the right word to use?
I don't know. Here comes Champ Bailey from the Washington Redskins. Woo! Also a former Georgia Bulldog as well. Now this is a hardcore match against Ming. Oh, he's got the surge can as well.
That's when you know it's fucking legit.
Yes, sir.
A scale of 1 to 10, how great was Surge?
6.
I fucking hated Surge. I
Did
can't
you
believe
really?
you rated it that high.
Okay. It was pretty. You could. I understood you could mix it with some bourbon, make it a little bit better.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what Lois did? Look at the ridiculous football helmet. How stupid it looks on Norman.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Slams it on his own head. How great is Ming? Just fuck these tools.
Yeah. I remember thinking, watch out, guys.
Yeah, they're gonna
Don't-
hit fans.
You damn straight. Don't throw. That's exactly what I was thinking at that time. Don't throw shit out of here. But let's get this thing backstage as quickly as we can.
Who loved the hardcore matches? Is that all Vince Russo, or
Yeah.
were other people a big fan of this? How did Ming feel about hardcore
Oh,
matches?
Ming would do anything. He didn't care. Ming was a pro. And,
This made Norman smiley.
yes, it did. And the screaming and running and everything. Norman did a great job with this. And of course, getting a Redskin jersey on or wherever he was, let's say we were in Canada and he had a Canadian hockey jersey on. It was always like, cheap pop, as fans may say. But I thought Norman did a good job with all this stuff. And don't never hit a Samoan in the head, you see, or never chop a Mad Ming. And they're going to go back towards catering here, which is always a lot of fun. Oh, big headbutt. And the hair helps sell that as well. Norman goes down. Oh, hardcore title. Remember, hardcore means anything goes. Pinfalls count anywhere in the building. You can use trash cans if you like. You can use catering tables if you like. There you go. Thank you. Like I said. And down he goes into catering. And catering was a little bit more elaborate than that. And, of course, the cookie sheet never hurt anybody.
That looks like WWE catering now.
Yeah, really. It looks like a Brahma bull going through there, doesn't he? Just pulling things, knocking things out of the way.
I loved in these WCW hardcore
There's
matches,
David Crockett.
just a random collection of fucking cardboard boxes stacked up.
Yeah, that's
Empty, perfectly unused cardboard boxes, mint condition cardboard boxes, just stacked up.
right. Oh my God, he threw
A cinder block.
a block at him.
That looked like a legit one too.
Yeah, it was. And here comes. Oh, why not? Take him out with a fire.
He just jumped through the curtain, the pipe and drape.
Fit Finley, who probably is as legit a tough guy as any of them, and Ming are going at it. Oh, and there's Brian Knobbs. Brian Knobbs and Fit Finley were at Fit Finley's hardcore something or
He
other.
threw coffee right at him.
Yeah, and there's the
And
boxes.
then Brian Knobbs takes the empty cardboard box spot, and then the empty aluminum trash can spot. Mm-hmm. Basically, Knobbs says, "Give me your thin, flimsy, empty shit." Sort of like my relationship with Hulk Hogan. Anyway,
part of Fit Finley's hardcore boot camp. Do you remember that when it happened?
no, I do not.
No one else does either. And now Ming with a Tongan death grip, and Fit Finley hits him with one of those flimsy chairs. And to the side, it's not going to phase the Monster Ming. Neither is a trash can lid. Not going to phase him at all. What are we trying to do here? You might want to just take something steel, like a steel, I don't know, a steel bar, a lead pipe, because those chairs are not going to, the Starrcade logo's not going to take Ming out. What do they think they're doing? This man is invincible. Look, oh, there it is. I called for it. A lead pipe. Oh, and he bit the lead pipe across the Tongan's back. Whew, finally got him down.
Only after he nearly tore his fucking groin on that coffee or tea or whatever he slipped across there.
That's what happens. You just never know. And now, Norman hiding under the table.
Nick Patrick trying to dig him out of the rubble.
So Norman comes up
with a curtain on his head.
Oh, Norman says, "What? Oh, it's over? Did I win?" Nick says, "Well, you can pin him here, dumbass. Kick him, see if he's alive. One hand, 1, 2, and he runs 3, and he runs away." So Norman retains the Hardcore Championship. Ming decimated. Oh, watch out, Nick Patrick.
Sell it, Kenny Powers.
Oh, watch out, Nick. He comes alive. He's alive. And now let's check in to see what's going on backstage. Candy Graham. Motherfucker. What I got? What am I up there? Ooh, it's my daddy's dick. Look how big that thing is. Ooh, the baby's arm. I'll take it. Ooh. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to beat Vampiro within an inch of his life. You're going to take the Misfits, make sure they never been wrestling. You understand? Yep. Okay. And we're going to beat the Georgia Bulldogs in the Rose Bowl. Go get them. Here we go. Is this the bathroom? Back now to the set where Tony Schiavone, Scott Hudson, who's probably got a gun on him right now. But wait a minute. The Misfits, look at them motherfuckers running away. A bunch of ghouls. Oh, look at the surprised look in the face of Scott Hudson. Oh, my God. Ghouls have got Oklahoma. Bobby the Brain over there saying, I don't give a fuck about any of this. I just want my paycheck. I want to go home. But we got Brain sober, so what are we complaining about? Before we go back to the ring, coming up, there's going to be a tag match where Hacksaw Jim Duggan has got three mystery partners.
How would you describe Bobby Heenan's necklace situation right now?
Oh, you know what that is? They got that from Lash LaRue. That was Lash LaRue's beads.
But how would Bobby describe it?
Lash LaRue's beads.
Oh, I thought he'd say something funny. My apologies.
I can't.
So we're going to see a package here of how the Revolution is trying to take over WCW. And, of course, this is Shane Douglas's outlaw group of folks here with Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn. And, of course, they're going to be challenging Jim Duggan. And Jim Duggan at this point has been the janitor for WCW because Russo didn't know exactly what to do with him.
Right. So in there, as you can see, Shane Douglas and the Revolution looking like good Cubans should look. Only thing they need is a couple of Cuban cigars, and they're the Revolution. And, of course, Asia. And now we got Hacksaw Jim Duggan in the back. Okay,
talking to the powers that be.
The powers that be, right?
And this is sort of a weird deal in that they're trying to embarrass Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and they're doing it with mustard and hot dogs. And let's let you do your thing here.
Okay, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, we understand, some surprise partners here tonight. That's right, Mike. Today, I got some surprise partners. Let me say this: Tough Guy 3 are going to come out. And if you think they're going to turn their backs on me, well, you're right. We've got high alert. We got an angle coming. You're going to like it, Tough Guy. Oh, this way. Good look, Mike. That's a good look for you. Thank you. So I don't know if you know this, Conrad, but I didn't know what was going to happen during this match.
You didn't know?
Did not know, but I knew. Anyone could see this coming.
Sure.
Couldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So of course, I guess we should give a shout out here because the Revolution is being accompanied by somebody who I figured you'd be into, right?
Who, Asia?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Asia's a nice lady.
Did you ever ask her to put you in a head scissors?
No, not at all. I liked her a lot.
So you only ask people you don't like to put you in a headset.
No, not at all. I'm good friends with her husband, Dale Torborg.
We should mention that the opening match here got a 1/4 star. The Vito and Johnny the Bull taking on Disco and Lash LaRue. I'm sorry, it got 3 1/4 star. Dave Meltzer wrote this about the Cruiserweight match. The Cruiserweight title can't be destroyed any more than it already has been, with the champ jobbing on TV, on every TV show in 2 minutes leading to this match. So the idea that the belt is on a woman is irrelevant. What do you think of that?
I'm glad Dave is the barometer for what it destroys a title and what doesn't.
Should also mention here that the hardcore title match, Meltzer gave it 1 star. As far as entertainment value, I would give it more than that.
Yeah. You always knew how many stars. If the match got a lot of stars for Dave Meltzer, do you know why, don't you?
Well, you believe they were calling.
They were calling Dave Meltzer. And anytime that, if you called Dave Meltzer, your match always got a lot more stars than it determined, than it should have had. So there.
We should mention that ratings had sort of bottomed out on the way to this Nitro.
Yeah.
The Nitro that directly preceded this on December 13th was the second lowest rating in years. And Russo was blaming everything else, including standards and practices, for not allowing him to have Roddy Piper call Ronda Singh fat, and for no longer allowing Ed Ferrara to mimic JR's Bell's palsy, and for not allowing Buzzkill to burn incense on the air, none of which, one way or another, would have probably mattered in the ratings.
Right.
Do you remember standards and practices being a thorn in Russo's side almost from day one?
No question. The guy's name was Galen, and Galen was a good guy. We all liked him. But there was a lot of times that Galen would put the kibosh on what Vince Russo would want to do. And sometimes they would do it anyway and just suffer the heat. And it was a never-ending battle backstage between standards and practices and the booking committee.
So JR here is going to, or not JR, Jim Duggan is going to get the crowd going in a USA chant.
Right.
And bring out a set of surprise partners that I never would have imagined I would have seen on pay-per-view here in 99. How about you?
Yeah, this was a kind of a shock. This was a shocker. But it was a good reaction, I thought, by the announcers, and it was a pretty good deal because they looked pretty badass when they came out, didn't they?
Yeah, I did not see the Varsity Club coming here.
Yeah.
And he's introducing them. Mike Rotundo out first, of course. And, going back to the Crockett era.
Whoops.
How about that? That's Come On, I Want to Lay Ya.
It sure is.
Right from ECW here.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes Mike.
Yeah.
Leader of the Wyatt family.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Sullivan, your good friend.
Yep.
And what do we always say every time we see Rick Steiner on the screen?
Mm-hmm. Woof, woof, woof.
No, what's he do now?
We always say, that motherfucker's a member of the Cherokee County School Board? What the fuck?
There you go.
What's wrong with this picture? But, they look pretty tough. They really did.
Hey, I should mention.
Well,
what
were you saying? You were mentioning something, I know.
I forgot. What were we saying?
Okay. Back to where we were here.
I have Rick Steiner's Michigan jacket.
You do?
I do. I have Rick and Scott Steiner's Michigan jackets.
Holy snakes.
Isn't that cool?
Where do you get that? How do you, what the heck?
I collect things.
Apparently so. Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan.
I have Kevin Sullivan too. He's in the basement.
Yes, I know. As a matter of fact, he got behind this the statue of E.T. right here, and you can't see him.
He's drinking. No one at home gets that, but it's still funny. Right. I think he's down there drinking Sam Adams in the basement right now.
Yeah, it's
bucking heat.
Okay, and now Dean Malenko goes in. Hacksaw Jim Duggan and his coveralls is going to go right into the Lion's Den.
Was this before or after Hacksaw had cancer?
This is after.
Forearm.
Yep.
Forearm.
Mm-hmm. And he had testicular cancer, right? Do I remember that correctly? Yes, I do. And shoulder first goes Perry Saturn. Perry, one of my favorite workers. Oh, right into the Lion's Den again.
Russo was claiming at this point that the same thing that happened to him in the WWF with Jim Cornette, Jim Ross, and Bruce Pritchard was happening to him here in WCW, which is saying he was undermined. And he feels like at the time, although he wasn't naming names, that it's probably Kevin Sullivan and J.J. Dillon who were sort of undermining him and trying to work against him. Do you think that Russo had a legitimate beef there for that to be the case?
I don't think you could point at any two people to say they were the ones undermining him. I think there's a lot of, I think it was a lot of people that were undermining him. And I don't think you can just say Sullivan or JJ was one of them. Look, I know JJ being an old school guy, probably Kevin being an old school guy too, did not like some of the new, what I call the new age things that he was doing. But, I don't know if you can really point your fingers at two guys.
Meltzer would write that Russo was booking based on internet feedback and quarter hours rather than, tickets being sold, pay-per-views being purchased. And allegedly, he is planning to bring in Lenny Lane and Lodi and make them standards and practices, giving them crew cuts and glasses and playing nerdy characters. Do you remember that being
I sure do.
An idea?
Yeah, I do. I sure do. That was kiboshed. But that was the idea. He was going to rip on standards into practices. It seemed to me that a lot of times that the more that people pushed on Vince Russo, the more he pushed back.
Well, and it feels like he pushed some sort of outlandish ideas at one point, suggesting that maybe Ultimate Warrior should come back. Now, let's not forget that a year prior at Halloween Havoc 98, it was one of the worst main events of all time.
Exactly.
And so he's kicking that around, and even maybe trying to bring in Bruno or Sammartino, obviously just to work an angle, not matches. But it's interesting that Russo is at this point seemingly trying anything and everything.
But when you're a booker, you do that.
Right.
You try anything and everything. You've got to be, hello, that's a good looking crew. And Shane Douglas talking with us. You've got to, as a booker, you've got to try anything and everything, but you got to realize even more so now when you've got 2 live television shows, or you got all these television shows you got to do now. They've heaped 2 more television shows on us, Thunder and Nitro. So the pressure that's on bookers and booking committees is incredible. Look, when you got a hot show like say Seinfeld, right? That's a 30-minute episode once a week.
Right.
This is 5, 6, 7 hours of TV each week. So it's different. I mean, it just
I had a different budget and the whole thing.
Yeah, I just don't see how they do it sometimes. China's another legitimately tough girl too. And now Sullivan in. Oh boy! Now we all saw this coming. The Varsity Club comes in. Sullivan just decks China. Out goes one member. Out goes Perry Saturn.
You keep calling her China, by the way.
Did I say China? Yeah. Asia. Sorry, Asia.
I mean, how silly is some of this though? That
Well,
Russo, it feels like he's just hey, well, let's just give us a WCW version of what's working over there.
Right. Call her Asia since we got China. The trio. Whoa. And now we see this coming and helping him up and then kick the shit out of him. There you go.
Everybody know that was coming.
No, I don't think I knew it was coming because I could feel it, but I'm not so sure all the fans did. So now, what happens here, Jim Duggan has to renounce
America
on the Nitro at Baltimore tomorrow night.
Speaking of stipulations, the Nitro about a week and a half prior to this is when Evan Courageous was supposed to wrestle Ronda Singh for the Cruiserweight title, with the stipulation being that if Ronda didn't win, she would have to strip on TV. Standards and Practice, of course, shot that down,
right,
and really frowned on all men versus women matches. So they wound up doing this one on pay-per-view instead,
right.
And they didn't want Jim Duggan to just have a straight-up match with Asia. Do you think that Standards and Practices was right at the time to shy away from man versus woman matches, or was it fair game considering the WWF had just had a pretty high-profile pay-per-view match with Jarrett and China?
Well, I think
it was a good idea to stay away from it. For no other reason than we should not have to copy everything they do. They had China, we had Asia. They had a woman win a man's title. We had a woman win a man's title. I've said this before, Conrad, we came across, right or wrong, probably wrong, as a cheap knockoff of the WWE back at that time. Monkey see, monkey do. If they're going to do something, we're going to do it. Don't you think?
I agree. What do you think of draping the Revolution flag over Jim Duggan?
It didn't bother me. It had been a Cuban flag or something like that, it would have bothered me. But let's go to Mean Gene Okerlund. And Mean Gene Okerlund says, we're going to talk here to the Misfits. Who's the motherfucker in the cage? Well, I don't know, Mean Gene, because I've never done a promo before in my life. I'm usually just a shitty punk rock band singer, but this looks like a little sawed-off fucking runt. And we got him here in a cage, and we got him locked up. The motherfucker's not going to be able to do a thing, and we're going to, when this is all over, we're going to all gang fuck him in the ass. That's right.
No. Do you really think that the Misfits are a shitty rock band?
I don't know what they are. I've never heard their music.
I don't know who you are.
You've listened to the Misfits?
Well, I mean, you know fucking Oklahoma and all these musicals, and you don't know the Misfits.
Well, sometimes, listen, the Misfits have done quite well. As a matter of fact, not only that, the Misfits were guys who were pretty good guys who would help us out in the back and do anything. I liked them a lot, but I didn't listen to their music.
What do you think of Vampiro?
Oh, man, I liked him. I liked him a lot. And this match is right straight out of Lucha Underground, isn't it?
It really is.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And he and Matt Stryker have done a hell of a job on that broadcast. But, yeah, Vampiro was a good guy. Had a good look, don't you think? Here come the Misfits. Here come the Misfits with Oklahoma. Now, this was after standards and practices, correctly so, had Oklahoma stop mocking the Bell's palsy, which was a terrible thing to do. I mean, really. We all had a lot of fun, of course, with JR and again, here's another thing.
Here's the thing. He's talking about stroke right here. And so in the commentary, this entire time, I guess we should mention that Ed Ferrara is wearing a headset and doing commentary on his own match.
Right.
And he's referring to beekeepers and saying beekeepers have no stroke. He's trying to work as many ways to say the word stroke in because they can't have him out here mocking JR's Bell's palsy. So instead, they just try to work the word stroke in.
Oh, that went right over my head.
Doesn't this feel really fucking juvenile?
No, it's terrible. And that went right over my head. It did.
Yeah.
But again, this goes back to this, where you become a cheap knockoff of the WWE, right?
Yeah, you're not different. You're B-movie version.
Exactly. So one of the reasons, look at Vampiro off the top. Vampiro. That was the funniest thing he did.
That was the best thing.
Yeah, that was the best thing Ed did. And Ed Ferrara is locked in the shark cage, and Vampiro and Dr. Death Steve Williams going out of here. 5 minutes with Oklahoma if Vampiro wins. Wow.
We should mention that a couple of weeks prior to this, Goldberg and The Rock meet for the first time ever when both of the companies were running shows in Toronto, and they had about a 15-minute conversation in Wayne Gretzky's private box. And they're talking about their contracts in the future. And apparently, China earlier in the day had told The Rock that Scott Hudson had been copying his catchphrases on WCW Saturday Night. And The Rock complained to Mike Tenay about it. Do you recall hearing of the meeting or Mike Tenay mentioning that he met The Rock and Scott was sort of the topic of conversation?
I remember the meeting, but I don't remember anything about Scott Hudson's catchphrases.
What did you hear about the meeting?
I just heard that Tenay said, I got a chance to meet The Rock, and what a great guy he is.
Well, there you go.
And that's what I remember about it. I said, that's tremendous. Good for you, Mike. Now I got to take a shit. Something like that is my response. I really...
How often do you shit?
Well, once a day, usually.
Morning or afternoon?
It's usually at night.
Oh, so right before bed?
Yeah, right before I take a shower.
Oh, okay. Sometimes after.
Yeah. So look, I've brought this up before, and I may have been wrong. And now that I look back on it, it was probably the wrong thing for me to do. But I didn't pay attention to any of their shit back then. I didn't care what The Rock did. I didn't care what Stone Cold Steve Austin did. I'm really getting a much appreciation out of it now by watching the network, watching all the old stuff. But back then I didn't give a damn. And I thought it was important for me not to give a damn. Care about your own shit. Right? Wrong?
I agree.
I don't know. I mean, that's just the way I was. Maybe I should have watched everything. I talked to JR recently, and JR said he used to watch the replay of Nitro, afterwards, because we had a replay of Nitro.
Right.
And they would do Raw, and we would do Nitro, and he would go back and watch the replay of Nitro. If they had a replay of Raw, do you think I would have ever watched it?
No.
Not at all. I would have gone right
because
to
you
bed.
didn't really give a shit.
Well, I did give a shit, but I'm a different person, and maybe it was the wrong thing to do.
Let me ask this, do you listen to other podcasts since we're doing do you listen to JJ's podcast?
No, I have. I will listen to it to catch up on a little bit, just to see how it is. I listened to Bruce's a couple times, but I haven't listened to one of it many months. So no.
I thought you were going to tell me that whenever you were battling insomnia, you'd throw on some JJ.
Well, that would be good, but I haven't battled insomnia in a long time. You'll find out when you get my age. And now up on top, Vampiro. and Dr. Death Steve Williams going at it. Dr. Death was another legitimately tough son of a bitch too, man. He really was. I really like Steve Williams a lot.
I guess we should mention that.
Wow.
What a maneuver off the top rope.
Yeah.
He hit him right between the mother and the fucker on that one.
He sure did.
Vampiro is
Here they come, Misfits. See, those kids taking some bumps.
Jerry only and the other Misfits are getting right after Dr. Death.
They are, man. Look at the bumps they're taking. These
It looks
kids,
like they're here to summon him.
these kids are not wrestlers, man, but they coming in taking bumps. And they look the part too, don't they? Look like the Goon Squad. Look at them. Whoa. Look at that. I have a lot of respect for kids like that, man. Wow. The double clothesline, take them down. Now we're getting near the end of the match. Remember, if Vampiro wins this match, he'll get 5 minutes with Oklahoma or Ed Ferrara. And, oh, wow. Spin into a back leg front kick. You ever heard of that? Back leg front kick?
Something else.
Something else, man. And here he goes back to the attack again on the right hand side of the head. Here comes Vampiro off the far ropes. Caught him in the air. Oh, he put him down. Put him down. Oh, cover him, Steve. Come on now, Steve. Let's go. Come on. Cover him. Cover him. That's what Oklahoma's saying. Cover his ass right now. And he's going crazy on top of him. He's going nuts. He's on top of him, hitting him with rights and lefts. And 60-year-old Charles Robinson is thrown away, and they're going to hammer him again. Charles Robinson goes back. He's an old man, Steve. Leave him alone. And get the fuck out of him. Yeah. And down he goes. And he's going to hammer him again inside the head. And Charles Robinson calls for the bell.
Those punches from Dr. Death at the end were just something else.
Well, he's kind of out of steam. So now... now he wants to unlock this door now. Why? Because Vampiro is out. Vampiro has won the match, and that means Vampiro gets 5 minutes with Oklahoma, but the 5 minutes has started right now, and the cage is still locked. Now, I think we're getting into here, Conrad, a little bit of WCWEs here, right? Because it should be unlocked right now. It should be unlocked. Are you with me? You still with me here?
Yeah.
Okay. It should be unlocked right now, but they're not unlocking it.
Right.
So I think we fucked up our timing here.
Sure.
Timing was not our strong suit.
Whose responsibility would that have been?
That would have been Doug Dellinger's responsibility to unlock it, but it would have been our responsibility.
From a timing standpoint, who was supposed to give a cue?
Well, it would have been Craig Leathers, I guess. Craig Leathers through the backstage area. And I have a feeling what's happening now is that the backstage area is screaming at Craig, tell him to unlock it. And Craig is saying, well, I can't because he's not wired for sound. And so it's just one of those things that the execution of the plan did not work out too well. He should have unlocked it, and he's going to get back to the back. See, he said, tell me to lock it now. How much time have I got left? So you see right now, this is WCW at its fucked up best right now.
I mean, nobody has any idea what's going on.
No, not at all. So Doug Dillinger finally gets to the back, and they say, Doug, would you get out there and unlock him? And Doug said, you should have told me beforehand. Okay? And that's basically what's going on. Doug goes all the way to the back, and then has to come all the way back out. You see? And Doug said, wait a minute now. No one told me, so there you go. So now he's unlocked.
Vampiro had to sell for 48 minutes.
Absolutely. So again, this is WCW being completely fucked up. So what happened in the production media? They said, and then Doug will unlock the cage, and it all looked good on paper. But did anybody tell Doug to unlock the cage? No. And here comes Ed Ferrara. Ed's a likable guy.
Super nice guy.
Yeah, you met him at JR's thing during WrestleMania week.
Great guy. Couldn't be nicer.
Oh yeah, really sharp kid. Was really detailed oriented. I liked Ed a lot. He and Vince had their problems. Had some run-ins, or not run-ins, or nose-to-nose confrontations, I guess.
How about the way he's throwing the boot here to mock The Rock?
Yeah, I know. Again, what are we doing? We're WWE Light, or WWE B Team.
I gotta say, I did like him calling his own match.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. And now the Misfits doing a great job of throwing his ass back in the ring. And now Vampiro.
What was that?
I have no idea. Oh.
Right to the dick.
Yeah, that's the way to call it there, Conrad. You were exactly right.
Well, we got ourselves a slobber knocker here.
Oh, pick up. Oh.
Rock bottom. Rock bottom. Rock bottom.
And here come the Misfits on every side. Wow. And now the Ghouls. It's Halloween at Starrcade. Beating the fuck out of Oklahoma. And right now the fans not really giving a shit about this. It's over. It's done.
Why should they care about Oklahoma?
Exactly. He's done really nothing to get any heat.
Except for make fun of JR.
Except for
who's on the other show.
That's exactly right. So, yeah. And as you can see, his wireless microphone is, oh, God. Now, that's heat if you ask me.
It feels like Vince would want him to do that just to embarrass him.
Yeah.
Allegedly, Russo asked Mark Madden to do Nitro shirtless.
Exactly. And Mark wouldn't do it shirtless. And neither would I. And Scott Hudson did it shirtless, if you'll recall.
It's worth mentioning, Charles Robinson has called Shawn Michaels' last match, Ric Flair's last match, Edge's last match, and Oklahoma's last match.
So there you go.
How about all the empty seats?
Well, again, Starrcade 1997 was the height, and things started to go downhill after that. They did. And you were seeing us on the downslide here. Although, again, some good things happened here. All right, now we go back to Jamie Kellner. Jamie, you mean you're going to sell this library to Vince McMahon?
Barry. How about fucking Parka in the back on a chair with his arms crossed?
Yeah, that's right. I think AOL is going to last forever. And I think I'm going to sell the entire library to Vince McMahon. Yeah, motherfucker's crazy. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Here we go.
All right. We're talking to Harlem Heat. And I would just like to say a couple of things to you. First of all, suckers got to know. Now we'll go over here to talk to Booker T. Booker T. One thing I want to say is that the thing, don't hate the player, hate the game, is my catchphrase, and suckers got to know is mine. What the motherfuckers doing selling T-shirts with my fucking catchphrase? So the only thing I got to say is I'm fucking tired of it. I don't know what this bitch is doing over here beside of me. What do you mean, bitch, motherfucker? Shut the fuck up. I'm bigger than you anyway. No. All right, fuck it. I'm out of here. If you want to sell your catchphrase, I'll sell mine. And Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson can kiss my fucking ass. I'm out of here. I'll see you later. Wait a minute, motherfucker.
Do you think they were upset because there was no Wendy's in catering?
Could have been.
I mean, I know Wendy's was over.
Yeah, it sure was. Okay, that, of course, was Harlem Heat with Midnight.
I mean,
What can you tell me about Midnight?
well, she was a large black lady.
Yeah, I mean, she was
Here's what I kind of blocked from my memory.
pretty jacked, too.
I blocked from my memory that Curly Bill, a.k.a. Vincent, a.k.a. Virgil,
Yeah.
a.k.a. Mike Jones, who was out here for the fuck money
Right.
with standards and practices.
Yeah.
I did not remember him.
I did not either.
I've just blocked this out.
Yep.
I guess here he's going by Shane, which of course
Yeah.
is a Vince Russo rib on Shane McMahon.
Well, and they were going by Jerry and Pat.
How about that?
How about that? That's
So we had Jerry and Pat
yeah, and Shane.
So
Right.
you guys are definitely
Yeah.
WWF light.
Boy, we're not even light, man. All right. Harlem
Well,
Heat.
suckers got to know.
Yes, sir, buddy. Suckers
But here
got-
comes Booker T,
Uh-huh.
your former world, your I guess
Soon to be
soon to be world champion.
Yep.
Five times,
Yeah.
five times, five
Right.
five times. But I don't see Stevie, and suckers got to know, is Stevie coming out?
Eventually. But he won't be coming out here. But let me say this, if I could, I like Booker T on WWE Raw.
I think you're in the minority, but I think Booker T is
I do.
One of the great success stories in professional wrestling.
They may not like what he says, but I like guys who are themselves.
Yeah,
And
he is himself.
Yes. He is himself on that broadcast. Nothing wrong with that.
Something I liked about Booker T too is he's the person who first introduced me to Breathe Right strips.
Yeah. Look.
It went midnight, and there is midnight. And Tony, it looks like you went 6 to midnight yourself.
Whoa, man. She'd kick a guy's ass in a minute, buddy.
How much would you pay to have her put you in a head scissor?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe a couple bucks.
What about Klondike Bill? How much would Klondike Bill have loved her?
Oh, God. Oh, my God. How much would Klondike love Medusa when she walked out earlier?
Everybody loved Medusa.
Yeah, well, Klondike would pass away a year later, and he was very sick at this time. He still traveled with us at times, but he was having small strokes, and it got to the point to where when he was with us, he couldn't even talk.
Not the kind of small strokes he liked either.
No, these were small, and he couldn't even talk, and it was very sad, and we were always heartbroken. So I don't want to drag this down a little any further than I can. Let's take a look at standards and practices now. I don't know if this is Pat or Jerry, but they're stomping away. By the way, this is a 6-man tag match. All of a sudden, Conrad, it is a handicap match because Stevie Ray's not out.
Well, Suckers got to know what's going on with Stevie Ray.
All right. And remember, these guys just came to the back where they talked to Jamie Kellner, who's the head of AOL, who told us that AOL would last a lifetime. It would never go down. It would be the best internet company ever. And he also said he was going to sell the entire library of WCW to the WWE because, as Jamie Kellner always knew, that it would never make money afterwards down the road.
And he would sell it for less than Goldberg made in a year.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Jamie Kellner, I don't know where you are or what you're doing. May you rot in hell. Into the ropes, and there's a duck, and there goes Booker T. Yes, sir. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And mess of a fucking spot. We'll just arm drag out of it. Down he goes again.
You know, I don't know why, but when you go, it tickles me.
Does it?
That's my sound effect for messing up a spot. Okay. Did she ever go to did Midnight ever go to the WWE?
No, I don't believe so.
Man, I don't know why. The girl she had good facial reactions, great arm drag and twist. Man, she was freaking legit, buddy.
Who would you rather get your swirl on with, Asia or Midnight?
I can't answer that. I don't know. Gerald, who's Patrick? I don't know. And
so the Revolution match got -1 star according to the Observer.
Yeah, okay. That means nobody called Dave Meltzer to talk.
Vampiro and Steve Williams got -1/4 star.
Nobody called Dave Meltzer to talk about that match.
Vampiro in Oklahoma got -1/4 star. He called it horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently,
he was right, actually.
Apparently, Steve Williams refused the job to Vampiro, so they compromised with a DQ.
Okay.
Do you remember that being a contested finish, or is this Meltzer freestyling?
When you say contested finish, what do you mean?
I mean, they according.
Yeah, he didn't want to do the job to Vampiro.
Okay.
That I knew.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting that people think wins and losses still matter.
Yeah.
And then a few matches before that, you had 14 pounds of tits beating Evan Courageous for the belt.
Yeah. You know what I have learned by doing commentary for MLW, Major League Wrestling?
What's that?
I've learned how much wrestling has changed in the 15 years since I've done it on many levels.
Well, you just saw a motherfucker with a staple gun for the first time in wrestling.
Right, yeah. Okay, but I'm talking about there's nobody, and Court Bauer may be bullshitting me. As you know, he can bullshit people at times.
Yes, sir.
He's a bullshitter.
Oh, yeah.
But there's nobody in the backstage area that refuses to do jobs on MLW.
Well, I don't think it matters as much as it used to.
Yeah. Maybe we're not talking about the high money we used to, but it just seems to me that the kids these days have checked their egos at the door.
Well, I think everybody gets that. Hey, man, if the show is better, then that's good for all of us.
Yes.
And, some of the most famous wrestlers, that we all know and love.
Right. Wow.
They lost a lot of matches, and it was okay.
Yeah. That's a good drop. Well, yeah, Mike Jones. Get his ass up. He did absolutely nothing. Oh, he'll take a bump. And down she, wow.
Damn. She went over hard.
She was pretty good, man. I don't get it. I don't like seeing this. Okay?
I don't know what's going on right now.
Okay. I just thought she could do a lot of stuff.
Well, that did not age well, did it?
No.
Couple of jacked up white skinhead dudes.
Yeah.
Holding a black chick down, beating her up.
No, we'll just move on past that, okay? And pretend that didn't happen. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to roll her in the ring. Vince Russo tried to sell this TV show one time to people out in L.A. called Bitch Slap.
Are you being serious?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about Bitch Slap.
They didn't go for it. It was just like women fighting. That's all it was. Cat fights. Maybe it was.
How would Lois have done? Have you ever seen Lois getting a scrap?
No, but I'll tell you what. I give her a lot of shit on this program, but
Is Lois pretty scrappy?
You damn sure. She's tough, man. Look, Lois is taller than I am. She's heavier than I am. And she comes from a military family. Okay?
So she bosses your little ass around.
She's pretty tough. She really is. So I don't,
If Lois had a finishing move, what would it be?
It would be the running power bomb. Is what it would be. The running power bomb, one corner or the other. And now they got Midnight in, and here comes Stevie Ray. Wait a minute. Now look here. I'm gonna help out Booker T. Yeah, I got it. Get the fuck out of here, mother. Get the suckers ain't got no shit. Get the fuck out of here, motherfucker. So there you go. And that's it for Stevie Ray.
I don't know why, but I really like your black guy voice.
Do you?
Yeah.
Good. Here, I'm going to tag you in. Let me tag you. Ain't tagging in shit. Shit. The fuck.
Chris McDonald did a hilarious video the other day where we were covering Starrcade 87 and they did the head to the dick spot.
Yeah.
And there was a black kid like 5 or 6 rows deep who got up and did like the Arsenio arm movement.
Yeah.
And you made a comment
What?
about the dick spot.
Uh-huh.
But you just did it in your black guy voice.
Yeah.
and it cracked me up.
Okay.
And I kind of forgot that you had a black guy voice until you started talking for Booker T there, and it got me again.
So Stevie Ray, he pissed, motherfucker. Fuck, shit.
Oh my God.
And scoop slam and a pickup. And I, you know where I got that voice? I had a lot of, when I was in high school, I had a lot of black friends. I really did.
Oh my God.
I did.
I can't believe you're being that guy right now.
No, I did. Ron Hill.
Now we're naming names.
Yeah, I'll name Ronnie Hill. I know you're not listening to me, and he's a coach in the Atlanta area football coach. He was a quarterback for the Buffalo Gap Bison, and I was one of his best friends. And Ronnie used to say, shit. And down he goes, shit.
Oh my God.
So, the Harlem sidekick. All right, go get that motherfucker. He's down, and let's go get this other skinhead. There goes Gerald in. He goes up and down. Motherfucker down. Call it. One. That was a fucking slow-ass one count. Look at Stevie Ray and Midnight going at it. Ugh. Well, don't bump her like that, Stevie Ray. What the fuck? Look at him. And we're going to miss the 1, 2, 3. How about that, huh?
I mean, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
You don't see the shot on Booker T. You don't see the count, for the 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Is this Vince Russo convoluted booking, or is this the truck not having any idea what to shoot?
That's the truck not having any idea what to shoot.
And that's not even necessarily their fault. It's just poor communication with everybody.
Yeah, of course.
Again, for the second time tonight.
Exactly.
So he's knocked out cold, but yet standing right up.
Yeah.
And they're pointing to the video wall.
Yeah. Well, look, let's go back to Ric Flair's 30 for 30.
Right.
When they asked Ric Flair if wrestling was fake, he said, no, it's not fake. It's choreographed.
Right.
And a lot of times the choreography was just...
How would you describe this?
This was... I guess this is Gold Dust coming back to the fold. Is this what this is?
I believe this is 7, right?
7, yes. Mm-hmm.
Look at this crap I'm in, he says.
Mm-hmm. Uncle Fester. Basically what this is.
He's promising to make WCW a miserable hell, and he's working here instead as Dustin Rhodes, breaking out of the gimmick. That, of course, was a big part of Vince Russo's WWF booking with Goldust.
Right.
And they're setting up a match here with Jeff Jarrett. And these guys had a little bit of a feud going. Of course, Jeff had famously, depending on who you believe, held up Vince McMahon for more money before he dropped the Intercontinental title to China on pay-per-view. And now he's in, and obviously a big advocate for Vince Russo. And right away, they're going to be booking him in a main event style spot.
Yeah.
But first, let's see the promo about what Dustin Rhodes, the King of the Road, has to say.
Dustin Rhodes, you're back here now. You look like the natural look. Oh, I don't want to say natural, but let me say something, Mike Tenay. I'm tired of this Gold Dust bullshit, the 7 bullshit. I'm part of the Rhodes family. That means a lot to me. You may have fired my daddy many times, but I'll tell you motherfuckers something. I'm coming after you, and I'm not going to settle until I get what I want. Now, I never was much of a talker like my daddy, but I go, what the fuck? Jesus Christ, we're starting the bookhouse match right now, Conrad. We're starting right now. Right now. Go talk, Conrad, talk.
What the fuck is Jeff Jarrett wearing? I don't understand. Is he
those looks like chaps.
Yeah, it looks like something Buff Bagwell wears over at CowboysForAngels.com. But yet Jeff Jarrett has it on. Dustin Rhodes is, of course, the son of the plumber, the son of the son of the plumber.
Yep.
And the bunkhouse match is a Rhodes family tradition. But Dusty Rhodes, not here at the time.
No, Dusty's not here at the time. Well, this is, we paid homage to Dusty because this was the match he invented, right? The bunkhouse, they said.
Right.
Okay. And now they're using just a
wheelbarrow with some sticks and a rope. He pulled the guitar to the side, wanting to make sure that that could be the big finish, I guess. What's your favorite match involving a wheelbarrow, Tony?
I don't know, but I do can tell you this. Bobby Heenan had a great line here. He says, we are used to seeing the Rhodes family
being taken out in wheelbarrows before. I just thought that was funny.
It is funny.
Yeah.
And I like that Dustin, in order to make this go, has to hold his feet up.
Yeah.
Because Dustin's like 7 foot tall.
Exactly.
Of course, I'm exaggerating, but still,
Yeah.
his feet would clearly be on the ground in this wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Taking drinks from fans.
Yeah, the fans love it.
This is like an ECW style brawl here.
Sure.
Except no blood, because you guys aren't allowed to do that.
Not
at this
allowed
point,
to do
I
blood.
guess.
Well, we're going to see blood later on.
I mean, at this point in the show.
Right.
I'm sure if they're going to push their luck, they're going to push it once or twice.
Right.
What great facials from Jeff Jarrett there. And, of course, Dustin's going back to his trim carpenter days, picking up some crown molding and a bull rope.
And some Crown Royal and a bull rope. You know what? How's Jeff doing? What can you tell me about him since he's parted ways from
He's in rehab.
Anthem? Is he?
Yeah.
Well, good for Jeff.
With Dance Bobby.
Good. You know what? I always like Jeff.
Jeff's a good guy.
Good guy. I mean,
I'm pulling for him. He's going to be a great success story. It's weird that, Jeff has seemingly survived. Look at that.
Yeah.
Broke it right over his back. Jeff has somehow survived everything.
Yeah.
Memphis and WCW and the WWF.
Yeah.
TNA was supposed to be out of business in a year. And somehow, some way, they hung on this whole time. He's a survivor in professional wrestling.
This sounds trite, but I'm going to say it anyway. Jeff, I'm praying for you, and I really am. And now back to the match. Oh, Dustin Rhodes pulling on the arm of Jeff Jarrett. I guess that's what he's doing. What's he trying to do here? Stick Jeff Jarrett's hand down these pants?
No.
That's a Joey Ryan spot. Sorry. And watch
He's
out.
hooking himself up to the cowbell so he can't escape.
Okay.
The old Texas bull rope style match.
Yeah. This is the bull rope that they should have had in Starrcade 90. Remember?
They should have.
Yeah.
They had that little T-tiny rope.
That's right. This is the one they should have had there. But of course, we forgot the rope that night. But now we got it here. And oh no, not on the announce table. Oh my God. Well, look at me putting my legs together like I'm a little girl. Oh my God. Get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from Scott Hudson. Somebody, if you're going to hit somebody, hit Heenan. He's the oldest one of us. Hit him. Don't hit me. Don't hit me. Don't hit me. Oh, he's on the table. Oh, you think he's going to fall on me, Scott? Oh, thank God they're gone. I almost pissed my pants there.
I don't know what to say right now.
I was
that freestyling was working for me.
Well, look, I was freestyling, but anytime these crazy motherfuckers got over near us, Conrad, I was legitimately scared because you didn't know what they were going to fucking do, right?
I mean, they could stick 6 Sharpies up your ass.
Well, they could, but it's choreographed, okay? Suppose their choreography meant we're going to maul the fucking announcers. Who fucking know? So it always concerned me that they would do something crazy. Oh, he's going to go in. What is he going to get? What the fuck is it? It's Paldoo in the face. Oh, that's a little nod to my youngest son, Tim, who used to call it Paldoo. Paldoo in the face. And now he's got what?
Duct tape and a belt.
Duct tape and the belt.
They're about to do porn.
Oh, oh my God. I hope not. Okay. Billy Silverman, Sarah Silverman's younger brother, saying, get the fuck out. Yeah. Hit that motherfucker too, buddy. That's what I'm talking about. Hit him. Get on the corner. Get back. I'll hit you.
This is the most convoluted thing ever because he starts tying up one wrist.
Right.
And the announcer starts saying, Dustin, what are you doing? Dustin, stop. But instead of fighting him off with the other hand, he's clenching the rope real good so he can tape the other wrist down.
Right.
Like, look at this. What are you doing? What are you doing? Who booked this shit? And then even Dustin's like, stop it. I did think it's kind of funny that Dusty is fired here.
Yeah.
And Dustin is wearing a Dusty Rhodes t-shirt.
Yeah, the American Dream. and the part that we all liked was
tape in the mouth.
Tape in the mouth, though. Absolutely. Give him a slap. Absolutely. And now back to the match because, anything goes in bunkhouse brawl. What the hell does the Men in Stripes matter at all? Okay. Funny, I thought about this when I was watching a WWE event recently, Conrad. When did the WWE announcer start going to stripes? Didn't they used to have the bow tie and the powder blue shirts
You said
on?
announcers, but you mean referees.
Yeah, referees. When do the referees go to stripes?
It's been a while. Probably 20 years.
Okay. All right.
25.
Back out of Jamie Kellner's office, Here comes Kurt Hennig, and he's going to go tell Jeff Jarrett that, Jeff, all this videotape that we're doing right now is going to be sold to Vince McMahon. You're not going to get a dime for it. So there you go.
And look, Silverman can't even try to unlock himself or untape himself with the other hand. He's just being helpless and waiting for someone else to do it.
Do you think Hennig was going to pull that off fast?
Oh, and when they broke that stick, it flew into the crowd.
Yes, it did. Mm-hmm. Now,
Terry Funk caught it in the eye and started yelling, "My eye! My eye!" Jeff Jarrett's trying to put us to sleep, but not with the J.J. Dillon podcast. Of course, we all know that's the most effective way to put a man to sleep.
J.J. and Rich Bocchini. Okay, from that we go into the sleeper hold, which looks like it's going to end the match right now. Good to see that Billy Silverman's back with us, had his mouth taped up, had his wrist taped to the ring.
It could have been worse, because sometimes when the Steiners tape up referees, they stick things up their asshole.
Yes, they do. Yeah, there you go. I always thought Jeff Jarrett was a great heel because he ran his mouth a lot. He had great facials. I had a lot of time for Jeff, man. Look here. 1. Oh, 2 more, Conrad.
Do you ever do this with Lois? See if she's asleep, pick her arm up and drop it, and see if you can get it to drop 3 times?
2. Yes, I did. And the only time I did it, you know what she did to me?
What?
She did...
the dishes.
No, she did that right there.
She middle fingered you?
Yeah, she did. Okay.
Did she wait till number 3 to do it?
Yes.
I love Lois. Lois is a gamer.
Yeah, you live with her for a week, see if you still love her. And now here to the ropes goes Jeff Jarrett, ducking down. He's got the sleeper on again. Oh, trying to send him back to sleep. Pick up and throws him down. Boy, Dustin Rhodes.
That was a nice little throw there by Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah,
Dustin Rhodes had a lot of power.
Yeah, Dustin was a good worker, man. He was a good worker. That's why I don't know.
It's interesting to me that Dustin has been one of the guys on the show here who would go on to have the longest career. You know, I don't think a lot of people, when they saw this, you know, would have assumed that he would have been the one to necessarily have this long of a run, but he's been very, very successful with the WWE.
Yes, he has. Say what you want about the Gold Dust character. I've never really liked it. I knew what it was about. And here's the pickup. Oh, and 1.
How smart was Dustin in a spot like that? Instead of covering the other way, jumps over to where it's easy for Kurt to pull him out.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows exactly where to be and when to be there.
Yep, it's aptitude for the business. Some people have it and some people don't. And you're seeing 3 kids who do right now because they're all second-generation guys who grew up in the business.
It's worth mentioning, yeah, all of them are. And, of course, we know Sarah Silverman, second-generation comedian.
Right, exactly. Boy, is she ever. And a right hand to the side of the head. Have you seen her Netflix special?
No, I actually like comedy.
Okay. And it was a funny opening scene to it, though, as far as
I'll never know.
Okay.
So he's going to kick him in the ding-dong here.
Okay. Yes, sir. Why not? He can, because anything goes in bunkhouse rules. Yeah, see you later, Kurt Hennig. Nut time! Bing, 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 bing. Down he goes.
Karen Jarrett's going to be one disappointed lady.
1, not for long. 2 count. And watch out. Hennig. Snap Mary, man. Yeah, he'll take them both on. He didn't give a shit. Over the leg over there. Right? And I'm going to put the leg over here. And that means you getting ready to get a nut shot, too.
Ding dong shot number 2.
Here we go. And fuck you, motherfucker. Here I come. I'm going to grab my nuts and bing, 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 bing. Ooh, ooh. Oh, back elbow. And right now this match kind of broken down a little bit, as you probably have imagined. Over the top goes Dustin. Haven't we had enough of this match so far?
It's been a long match.
Yeah, it's been a long match.
It's been a decent match.
What did Meltzer give it?
You want to guess?
Yeah, he gave it 2.25 stars.
I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised here. He gave it 2.5.
Wow, I was close. Remember, 4 stars and over, they called Dave Meltzer. That's the rule of thumb there.
You saw, the last time you saw Dustin, you know, we've covered this before, was the King of the Road match with he and the Blacktop Bully. And now he's back in WCW after a very successful run as Goldust on the other show.
Sure.
Did you notice any difference in him personally before and after his WWF run?
Yeah, I did notice something about him. He seemed like, okay, I think simply put it this way, when he left us, he was a young kid. When he came back, he was a man. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
He seemed like Dusty's son back then, just another kid. And when he came back, he seemed like his own man to me. And
how about this right here?
Yeah. Clink. Wow. And that's it. 1, 2, 3. The guitar trumps all. Yeah, baby. See, Jarrett was a good heel. Great heel. I hope he can make a comeback in this business. I
think everybody does.
Yeah.
Jarrett's another guy who sort of bounced around. He was in WCW, came from the WWF, went to WCW, went back to the WWF, then came back a few months before this. Did you notice a difference in Jarrett before and after that WWF run?
No, I was the same. My daddy's penis is as big as this. It's got the same sort of end on it. Ooh. 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 I get kissed? No. Ooh. Wow. Take a look at the girl on the left. I'm in love with her. Yeah, that's what I talk. Whoa. Into her tits. Oh. Yikes. What's she doing now?
Kimberly Bacon?
Yeah.
It's a great question. I'm not exactly sure. I know she's still really tight with DDP. I know, he's of course remarried a wonderful lady named Brenda, and they're very successful with their DDP Yoga Enterprises. But I'm not exactly sure what she's doing for a living. But I can't wait to hear what DDP has to say here.
Diamond Dallas Page, you've got a match coming up, a crowbar on a pole match, which is not unlike Judy Bagwell on a pole match. Let me say this, Gene. I've fucked Kimberly many times. And I like to say that if that little motherfucker thinks he gonna fuck her, he wrong. He can beat me up all he wants with the crowbar, but you're not gonna get any of that. You know what I'm saying, bro? Because she's my woman, and you nothing but a little motherfucking psycho. I'm gonna take that crowbar, stick it up his ass, Gene. That's what I'm gonna do. No pussy for you, brother. That's what I say. Later. Well, wait a minute. I got some shit on my hands here. What is that? Oh, okay. As you can see, it's chocolate pie from Catering. Bang. Okay.
Oh, I've got some shit on my hands. What is that? It's the line of the night.
It sounded something like that. I don't know.
I mean, that's pretty close to what he said.
Yeah, it's pretty close. You think
Let's talk about David Flair. We haven't spent a lot of time talking about him on the show here, but
one of my favorite kids of all time. It's not only because his dad is one of my favorites, but I always liked David Flair. I thought David was put into a very unenviable position.
No doubt.
Yes.
I mean, the pressure, nothing you do is going to be good enough.
No.
It's going to live up to the hype.
No.
It's just what an unenviable position he was put in here. And with no real experience, he's just thrown into wrestling matches on TV on high profile spots,
right?
With no real training.
None.
And he's making a lot of money,
right?
Which is based on his position, not because someone gifted him the deal. I mean, it was not his idea, and he's just sort of thrown in here. Winds up hooking up with Stacy Keibler.
Yeah,
has a good little run. There he is.
Yeah, there he is. And he had some angles with Stacy Keibler and Kimberly Page, so that's not bad to have those angles, right?
No, we should mention that. I guess I'm gonna give everybody a peek behind the curtain.
Okay.
The thing that is the most over in the history of the show that we've been doing now for nearly a year, it's not even close, is what, Tony?
What, our show, you and me?
Yes. What's the most over thing we've done?
I don't know. What is it? What the fuck am I talking about?
Well, think about the t-shirts we sell. What's the most over thing we do?
Okay, it's Tommy Young.
Tommy Young.
Okay, the T-shirts, I understand. Okay,
I'm just saying that's our
you-
most requested thing.
Yes, right.
It's the thing people talk about the most on social media.
Right.
It's our number one T-shirt seller by a mile. Is all
Right.
of that right? So
That's
far?
right. Okay.
It stole the happy birthday video from you.
Yes.
We owe all of that to David Flair.
To David Flair.
We haven't revealed that, but the person that I said on the show, a good friend of the show, told me this story. It was actually David Flair.
David Flair told it because this was back when David Flair was just kind of a young kid hanging out in the back with the wrestlers, right?
And imagine when you're a young kid, you're 19, 20 years old.
Right.
And the Barbarian makes that joke
Right.
when Tommy comes to visit.
Right.
You have got to be fucking spooked.
Exactly. And therefore, we sent David Flair a Tommy Young T-shirt.
We did.
Yes, we did.
And he also has a Flair Hit It First shirt
Yes, he does.
in honor of us talking about the George Clooney safety keeper business.
Well, look, we say that we have a lot of affection for David Flair. We both do.
Great guy.
Great guy. And you know, he, to his credit, he was, and he's Ric Flair's son. I get it. But he put everything into this. And he came along at maybe the wrong time for him, because he came along when Vince Russo was booking. And so they went to the crazy stuff,
Right.
Instead of trying to make him a legitimate wrestler.
And he has a good sense of humor about it. Of course, David's
he does.
not in wrestling anymore and doesn't do anything with wrestling. He has a real life and very successful business and an awesome family and blah, blah, blah. But he's kind of joked, I did wrestling in reverse. Instead of starting out in the National Guard armories and working my way up to TV, I started on TV, went to pay-per-view,
Right.
and then to the National Guard armory.
Right. So let me ask you this. You may know this better than I do. After our run was done, what did David do? Did he go on to wrestle longer, or did he call it quits after that? Or
No. Yeah, he
1, 2, and a reversal 1, 2.
he tried his hand in the WWF and did some developmental with them, and it didn't really work out. He tried to run in Puerto Rico. He did some indies.
Okay.
He tried his hand at it for a few years, and then eventually it was like, I think I'm just gonna
Well,
do the real life.
Again, after 2001, as a shoot, and fans should know this is a shoot. With me, after 2001, I completely lost touch with wrestling, so I didn't know what anybody did.
Right.
So it was a new world to me coming back into this. Thank you very much, Conrad, as we're getting ready to come into our first year of this.
I'm having fun with it, and I think all the fans are really digging.
Yeah, we're having a good time.
That you're back into it.
Yeah, well, you got me back into doing commentary, you son of a bitch. And whip into the rope, and here comes Diamond. Oh, a foot to the face, and down he goes. Not a bad clothesline at all from the kid. DDP did a great job of bumping and taking it, got a 2 count, and got out of it. Remember, if you can go up and you can get the... Stop pulling at your hair, kid. If you can go up and you can get the crowbar, you can use it. And that's not the wrestler crowbar. That is the crowbar. Hating on the... Oh, wow. That is called the discus lariat.
I like it. Mm-hmm. Of course, Little Nachin here, great friend of the show. He thinks our shows are too long, by the way.
Does he?
Would you have a message for Charles Robinson?
Yeah, Charles. Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, he likes
Okay. Sometimes I think our shows are too long, too. Sometimes.
Well, boy, Starrcade 91 was about 2.5 hours too long.
So how does Charles Robinson know the show is too long unless he listens to the entire 3 hours of it?
Well, I think he sees that the download time is 3 hours and he gets intimidated.
All right. Yeah.
Because he's used to refereeing 4-minute matches on TV.
Can I also bring up this as we're talking about time?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of feedback. Not a lot of feedback. I've had an amount of feedback that says that, and you and I have gone to this format where we watch a show. And we want you to go on the network with us, right? And watch it. There's a lot of guys who listen to our podcast while driving. Guys, UPS drivers or guys who have long drives. And we appreciate all of you. And they say it loses something for them if they're doing it on the drive. So maybe
watch it when you get home.
Yeah,
feels like that's
do it
the
again.
solution.
Download it again.
Here's the deal. If you're curious why we do this format, I encourage you to go listen to the Steve Austin and WCW episode, and all the answers you've been looking for will be revealed. It's the worst show we've ever done, and we just did Starrcade 91.
Oh, boy. Ow.
I feel bad for David because he's in a bad spot there where he had to take the diamond cutter couldn't take it very gracefully.
And then had to throw
and the crowbar falls back into his own hand accidentally, and he has to get it off of there. So it doesn't look like he's about to hit him.
Right.
You know, this is an interesting match for DDP because it feels like DDP would have appreciated having an angle, but this is not where you expect a caliber star of DDP to be at this point. Of course, he won the world title just a few months prior to this in April for the very first time, and he's world champ. And now, 8 months later, he's at Starrcade, where a lot of people probably thought he would have a more high-profile match, and instead, he's with the very green David Flair. Do you think that DDP may have hoped for a different match for such a high-profile pay-per-view?
There may have been. And enter Daphne.
I believe this is the debut for Daphne.
This is Daphne's debut. This is Daphne's debut.
This was going to be a fun little run.
Right.
For Daphne and David Flair. I enjoyed that. And you guys started referring to her as that girl from Peoria.
Yeah.
Now, I believe that Terry Taylor was sweet on Daphne. Do you have any intel on that?
I don't have any intel on that, but I love Daphne.
I think he did too.
And you think he did too? Yeah. Oh, okay. Is that a secret? Yeah.
I don't know if it's that big.
She probably wouldn't have been the first. But Daphne, shrieking and screaming and had those crazy facials. See, look at her. Watch her when she...
No, she was very good.
Yeah, she was very good. Now watch, she's got to give us another one of those maniacal looks and laughs or whatever. Come on, Daphne, give it to us. That a girl. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, baby.
She's a great actress.
I loved her. I absolutely loved her. Yes. Yeah. So that began the run with Daphne. Wow.
There's a lot going on this pay-per-view so far.
Yeah, there is. Who's that good-looking girl behind me?
It's a great question. She was a comp ticket, though. I'll tell you that.
Hello, sweetheart.
Oh, I don't know. She likes to be on TV.
Okay.
Any chance that lady listens to the podcast?
No.
That fucking guy probably does, though.
By the way, for those of you who get our T-shirt at lowestrules.com, a lot of times if a female name is on there, I'm very, very cautious about my phone call to you.
Why is that?
Because
they listen to the show.
No, they don't. No, very rarely.
1.8% of them.
Yeah, okay, very rarely. We're looking at a video now of Luger. This is, I'm going to be very honest with you, this is a very difficult match for us to do.
Why?
Because of how that relationship ended and how her life ended. I'm going to be doing this and talking about it, but I'm also going to be thinking about what a wonderful person Liz was and how that horribly ended.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's difficult for me to do. So just to let you know, it's as difficult for me to do as doing a Chris Benoit match. Tragic endings all around.
Well, you're going to get to do both of them.
Yeah, I know. How about excited? That? No, not really, but we'll make through it. We'll talk around it.
Isn't it easy to see when there's Vince Russo booking when you've got so many props in the wrestling?
Yeah.
Where it's a shark cage, it's a lead pipe, it's a crowbar.
We had a mud wrestling thing. Do you see that?
Yeah, there's just so much.
Right.
That's just, and it makes me wonder, like, where were all the mud wrestling pits and crowbars and guitars and all that during the Jim Crockett days?
Yeah, when Johnny Valentine wrestled Wahoo McDaniel.
Yeah, I mean, why did they not do it with a wheelbarrow?
Yeah, I don't know. And when you have that many props, what happens?
None of them matter.
No, nothing matters. But your prop budget goes up, or the number of money, the amount of money you spend on props, and therefore that's why you continue to lose money.
By the way, is this the best Lex Luger ever looked?
I don't know.
I think you could argue this might be the best because he is. It feels like at least bigger than ever.
Yeah. When he takes his, we'll revisit this when he takes his top off here because
I don't know why, but you saying takes his top off really weirds me out.
It shouldn't. That's what he's going to do.
Well, but I would call it a shirt. I think women wear tops and men wear shirts.
Okay, so when he takes his shirt off here,
Thank you.
I see what you're saying. Is a shirt not a top?
Well, listen,
okay.
that's for you and Tom to figure out.
Oh, wow. Back we go to the Tom Zenk.
Here we go. His top's off.
Yeah, that's pretty spectacular, isn't it? There's an idiot with a laser thing in the ring, too. Whoever, those guys with the laser pointers? I would have loved.
That's ridiculous.
I would have. Yeah, it is, isn't it? I would if you're listening to our podcast and you were one of those idiots with a laser pointer, DM me because I'd love to come to your house, find you, and stick it right up your ass.
How about 6 of them at the same time, Rick Steiner style?
Yes, sir.
Hey, that's what we're going to start calling it. Whenever people stick 6 things up your ass at the same time against your will, we're going to call it Steinerized. I think we should make that a shirt, actually.
Steinerized.
We'll like get 6 Sharpies.
Yeah.
And then we'll put like a rubber band around them, put that on a shirt, and then around it say Steinerized. So is Liz doing self tanner or spray tanning at this point?
Probably spray tanning at this point. Now she come in with her mace. Sting says, "Use my mace. It's the good stuff." So
it's the super octane.
The super octane stuff. So Sting's going to come in here, giving Liv. Of course, she has used the mace, and now they come to the ring, and this is for the honor of Liz.
And by the way, his can of mace just happened to be wrapped in black electrical tape. Man, they are loving her, are they not? Mm-hmm. They're getting this blonde chick behind you on camera as many times as they can.
She's gorgeous.
I feel like somebody in the production truck gave her comp tickets.
I feel like somebody knows her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get her on TV for a little
Oh, right.
I know you don't know what that means, but it's
I don't know
when a man loves a woman.
Okay, I know what shwing is, but I don't know what is. Okay, here's Sting with Sting with Miss Elizabeth is coming to the ring. Okay, that's the baseball bat. I want you to knock him in the nuts with it. Okay, yes, I will. All right.
How about the multicolored scorpion on his jacket?
Yeah. This is my favorite Sting.
Well, I think the favorite Sting should be like the Sting from 2 Starrcades before.
Okay.
It feels like by this point, Sting has,
right.
He's lost a step.
Right. You're talking about the mysterious
his Sting. Yeah. I mean, Sting has cooled off.
Yeah. Of course he has. Look, that Starrcade 97 in this building took a lot of shit out of us, don't you think?
Yeah, and mostly just the finish.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that finish hurt us.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I find it interesting that, what's that old expression? If you fail to learn from mistakes of the past,
yeah,
you're doomed to repeat them.
Yeah,
and it feels like you guys are sort of doing that here, in that we're gonna have a sort of fuck finish in the main event at the same big pay-per-view at the same building with the same fans. Yeah. And when you come back to these places and you don't draw worth of shit, and everybody's looking around like, well, why?
Yeah.
It feels like, well, fuck, how is he this?
I could have saved WCW in 3 steps.
Lose weight. Tell Lash LaRue to lose weight.
No.
What else?
I could have saved WCW in 3 steps. Okay. Number 1, never demote Eric Bischoff.
Well, yeah.
No, it's number 1. Number 2, have Eric Bischoff trust the right people. If we would never demoted Eric Bischoff, we would have never had Bill Bush run the company. And have Eric Bischoff trust the right people. And number 3, never sell to AOL. That would have saved WCW. 3 steps. 3 steps. Eric should have never been demoted. And things were going badly at that time.
You couldn't prevent the sale to AOL, though.
Yeah.
That was out of all wrestling's hands.
It could if we would have Steinerized Jamie Kellner.
Hypothetically
1,
speaking,
2.
If you know where we can reach Jamie Kellner, DM the contact information to @TonySchiavone24. We would love to break our rules, have him on as a guest.
Yeah.
And specifically, we will invite him to the Conradison, fly him in first class. And then have the Steiner brothers here with a bowl full of Sharpies. Mm-hmm. And we'll just let nature take its course.
Well, and we should. And listen, Jamie Kellner, I know where he is. He's in the dumbass ward of some hospital. Okay. I can't believe he's still got a job. I mean, look, yeah, is Schiavone bitter? Well, of course, there's a part of me that's bitter, but he gave away all this shit. And we're watching it right now on the network. We're watching it. Somebody's getting paid for this stuff. Geez, how stupid can he be? Well, Liz is smacking a punch there, isn't she?
Yeah, Liz is smacking the shit out of Luger.
Yes, she is. Very good.
And Sting's dropkick, light as a feather.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Sting and Luger. We saw Sting and Luger. Ooh, each with a lariat or a clothesline at the same time as Johnny Boone, the referee. Haven't talked much about Johnny.
Would you argue that Flair made both of these guys?
No, I agree.
If you had to pick one, which one do you think had the better career.
Sting did. Watch
And
out.
of course,
Yeah.
we know what's coming here.
Yep.
That's the Vince Russo show.
Uh-huh. It's the Mace. Hi, Liz. Oh, he put silly string. He gave her the can with silly string.
And hypothetically, if it was Mace, was she going to spray him in the chest with it? When you've been shot in the chest with Mace by Medusa, how bad did it hurt?
Ooh, I just smiled like he smiled right there. Okay, now get out of here. Now don't turn you. Yeah, keep him down.
You see, what's different is normally it's Luger throwing his silly string at Liz.
I won't respond to that. Into the midsection, and here we go into the ropes. Down goes Luger. And again, now, okay, the fact is that Liz is still at ringside, which kind of bothered me here as this match is going on.
Why was she allowed to just climb in the ring in the middle of the match with both guys down? Why did the ref allow that?
I don't know. Well, it's because of Johnny Boone. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, I guess.
Is he wearing an earring?
Yes, he is. Wow. Johnny Boone always wore the earring. And
Johnny Boone have a glove on his right hand?
It looks like it's a brace, like one of those braces for carpal tunnel.
Pounding them out too.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, absolutely. Sting, the Stinger Splash! Stinger Splash! Stinger Splash! Here he goes again! Oh, all the way across the ring! Here it comes! Sting! Oh. Now, okay, if Liz tried to mace him beforehand, all right? I mean, this is one that you could see coming all the way down the Mississippi. Am I right?
Sure.
Yeah. And here she comes in again. Sting knowing that she's coming in with the bat. All right. So, if you're looking at this logically, okay, he should take the bat and throw it away.
Yeah.
But he didn't, which led to the finish. And she's embarrassed again. And, of course, you're thinking that Luger is going to come up, but put it down. That's right. That's stupid. Okay? Of course she's going to pick it up again and whack him in the chin.
And by the way, it was a loud pop when she hit him with it. Mm-hmm. Not from the crowd. I mean, they did respond.
Right.
But the thud that hit him
made
a very audible noise. It sounded super legit, even though, of course, we know it's wrestling.
Yeah, but it's a rubber bat.
Right.
It's what it is, and that's why it made a loud pop. And now they're going to try to break his hand. So,
which, by the way, I thought was very well done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They put his hand in here, and he wiggles it into position.
Yeah.
But then they do a really great job, I feel like, of stomping the chair. And Sting sells it great, like he's unconscious.
Right.
So there's no traditional wrestling selling.
Right.
He's just a lifeless corpse as they just pound on it. Very well done for what it was.
Yeah, it really was. So now he's calling for the bat again, and oh my God, he's going to try to break it again. What's he trying to see? He's hitting it's a gimmick bat, Lex. You don't have to hit him like that. That's what I'm thinking.
He's trying to take care of his buddy, and I can't be mad at that.
Yeah, it's a rubber bat, though. Lay it in for crying. She did.
Well, you say that, but we don't know if she really hit him hard for real, though. I know it's a rubber bat, but she was swinging for real. That we should do that at our next live show. We'll have a rubber bat, and for $20, people get to hit Tony Schiavone wide open in the face.
Wow.
It's a rubber bat.
Don't offer that to Lois Schiavone.
Well,
Please.
The deal is we're trying to pay for her fucking wedding. You know what I mean? By the way, someone asked the other day, after the wedding is over, are you guys still going to do the podcast? And I said, yes, divorces are very expensive.
I'm not divorcing that lady. She has nowhere to go. Bless her heart. And they're going to help Sting out.
Going to get Chris Schiavone divorced?
No. Danny Young, our trainer.
Is he related to Tommy?
No.
Let me just freestyle.
Danny Young, come get this guy.
That our referee here, what'd you say his name was? Daniel Boone?
Johnny Boone.
Johnny Boone. Mm-hmm. Johnny Boone owns turntables. I can tell from looking.
Yeah. Johnny.
He's an amateur DJ.
Johnny married Michelle Bayens, who was the production assistant for me and our crew that did WCW Saturday Night.
Well, he knows where the ecstasy in DC is, and he's got some turntables. I'm just telling you.
All right. It's time for the Powerbomb match. You ready?
Well, let's do some more convoluted bullshit.
All right.
We've done so many gimmicks so far, but this is one of my favorites. When Kevin Nash dressed up like Sid This makeup and the prosthetic chin.
Yeah.
How ridiculous is some of this?
Yeah, it's crazy stuff, but it's all Kevin Nash silly stuff. Okay. He was so cool and funny, and I loved his stuff, man.
I loved when Sid came out and said, you're half the man that I am, and I have half the brain that you do.
That's right. Isn't it great? And he was right. And this was, two of the biggest men in WCW going, and the only way to win it is with a power bomb. One's going to power bomb him to the center of the earth. The other going to power bomb him straight to hell.
Isn't it interesting, the tale of these two guys' careers, and that it almost feels like Sid is a victim of bad timing a lot of times, or poor decision making, whatever it may be. But Kevin Nash was seemingly always in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
He knew he understood the temperature of the business better than maybe anyone except Hulk Hogan.
Sure did. Shrewd is what you would say.
Yeah.
And of course, when Sid was wanting to play softball, Kevin Nash was probably wanting to make money in wrestling. That's another way to say it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Kevin Nash gets a lot of criticism, and this is one of the first times we're going to call a Kevin Nash singles match here on the podcast. But a lot of fans say that he has like 5 moves of doom, and so he's got like a handful of moves. And they say the same thing about John Cena. But the gist is Kevin Nash knows 5 or 6 or 7 wrestling moves, and Jim Cornette's always sort of echoed that too. That if you really count, you can't come up with more than just a handful of moves. But Kevin Nash would retort and say, I made more money with 5 moves than anybody in the history of wrestling.
Right. Look, how many great professional wrestlers can you name? Now, how many mediocre professional wrestlers can you name? Many more than you can great professional wrestlers. Not everybody can be a Ric Flair or a Chris Benoit or a
Ricky Steamboat, Terry Funk. Yeah.
Terry Funk. Yeah, there are many more wrestlers who have less moves and less ability than those guys.
Sure,
you can't compare everybody to them. It's just stupid. It's so there are people out there on the internet who think they know it fucking all, and one of them you read all of his Observer all the time. And there's people like me that realize that I don't fucking know it all. I never knew it all. And I appreciate guys who could work and who couldn't work that well, because it's not always about the work. A lot of times it's about the angle.
Isn't it interesting when we're talking about Starrcade here, just how much the business has changed? You go back to Starrcade 91, which we covered last week. And in 8 years, Kevin Nash was advertised to be there as Oz. And here he's one of the most over guys in the entire industry. Sid, of course, you go back to Starrcade 90, and he's there with Dan Spivey wrestling the Motor City Madman and the Big Cat and a tag match. It was just sort of a throwaway. And in the meantime, both of these guys were WWF World Champions.
Right.
I mean, they really accomplished a lot.
Yes, they did.
And, Sid would go on to main event WrestleManias. Kevin Nash has main evented WrestleManias. Kevin Nash here is one of the highest paid performers in all of the industry, making as much or more money than almost anyone in the business before. It really is incredible what these guys were able to accomplish in a relatively short amount of time.
Yes, and not being the great, wonderful workers that we all tip our hats to, So, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Sid here, believe it or not, main evented 2 WrestleMania.
How about that?
And I also want to point out that when they were making their entrance, I felt like Sid has aged much more than Kevin Nash.
Now or right then?
Right then and now.
Yeah, well, now he has for sure.
I feel like Sid from 97 versus Sid from 99.
Yeah.
2 different Sids. But certainly now, Kevin Nash looks like he could step in and go today.
Sure he does.
Well, he's fresh off knee surgery. Give him 6 months. But still, he still looks like a bodybuilder.
Yeah, he sure does. And, of course, he got the short gray hair now. But we've seen Sid. I've seen some of the things that Sid had done online, and he has really aged a great deal. So everybody their own, everybody differently.
The spot in the corner there with Kevin Nash just a moment ago, that was some of the worst selling I've ever seen from Sid. When I watched it this past week, prepping for our show, I was sort of aghast at how poorly Sid was selling that. And I know that Sid has sort of been a controversial figure in the business. Sid's bleeding there from the back.
Yeah, he is.
And the gist of this match, of course, it's a powerbomb match.
Right.
So the first person to hit the powerbomb wins the match. You don't have to actually pin anybody. And this is very much a Vince Russo style stipulation, is it not?
It's a Vince Russo style stipulation that is going to end up with a shitty finish.
You know, and that's the criticism that Vince gets all the time is he accurately, and he knows this to be true, wrestling fans want to be surprised. And the element of surprise is what fans are looking for. And all the research that Eric Bischoff did for the very first Nitro with his media groups and focus groups led him to believe that what people wanted was an air of unpredictability. And of course, that's the reason Nitro was live. You can hear more about all of that focus group talk on our very first Nitro episode, available now in the archives. And you're going to love the Pastamania story. Anyway, Vince Russo really took that to heart because he believed that too. And so he kind of became known for what wrestling fans call the swerve.
Right.
And I guess my point has always been, and a lot of people agree with this, if everything's a swerve, then nothing's a swerve. If you expect the swerve, then the swerve is the normal. And you don't expect, the swerve becomes to just do it right.
Right.
And it feels like we've seen lots of swerves so far tonight, and we're not done yet.
Yeah, but you can swerve people, but you still got to have them finish up at a good spot.
Yeah, that's
Right?
exactly right. It's not necessarily what happens in the moment, but where are
Right.
you going tomorrow?
Exactly.
Where are you going 3 months from now?
Look, have you watched, let me ask you this, and I know you don't like comic books and shit like that. Have you watched Netflix The Punisher?
Ric Flair made me watch the last scene.
Okay.
So I've seen, well, I guess the entire last episode.
Yeah. So
I'll watch the whole thing eventually,
Yeah.
but when I was over for Thanksgiving, he was
Yeah.
so excited to show me the last scene.
he's right.
The ass beating.
Yeah. So it was a hell of an ass beating.
Oh my God.
It was, and here's the deal. It had swerves all throughout it.
Right.
But you finished up with that high spot you saw. You
Sure.
see?
Oh my
So you end up the season saying, what the fuck? That was great.
Yeah.
So you can swerve them all the way up to the end.
But you've got to have the end in mind.
Exactly.
And it feels like a lot of times the booking here was ready, shoot, aim.
Exactly.
And that's sort of a shame because you've got two really, really over characters here, and it doesn't feel like the crowd is as into it as they could be because you go back even to like Halloween Havoc 1990. Sid understood how to just turn his head to the left or turn his head to the right and look at the crowd, and they go bananas. And he understood sort of how to have them in the palm of his hand. And of course, Kevin Nash, cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Right.
Interesting move here.
Ref bump, and he's got him up for the power bomb. He should win it, right?
Well, but I'm saying that looked disastrous for a minute, and Kevin Nash was clearly worried. But
Yeah.
Sid Vicious is a man and a half to be
muscle.
able to hold it and just muscle him through that.
Right.
Of course, in comes Jarrett. Little help from my friends for Kevin Nash.
Yeah. And it exploded, of course. Now he's got to get rid of the evidence. So here's what I didn't understand about the finish. Okay. I get it. Now Sid is out. Kevin Nash, get up, Kevin, get up. Make sure you get all the guitar out and get the fuck out of there as well. And here's what I didn't understand, how they could call this the finish. Did the referee see, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, did the referee see a power bomb here?
No.
No, he did
How
not.
would he have seen it?
How would he have seen a power bomb, right? But he's going to give the win to Kevin Nash. So again,
Because he's a heel.
the referee's a heel?
No, Kevin Nash is a heel.
Okay, I understand.
Well, it's sort of like we talked about last week on Starrcade 91 when tag team partners just clap hands instead of actually tagging
Yeah.
because you're a heel. So it's sort of the same thing. He heard the power bomb. He heard someone
He heard the
fall.
power bomb. It could have been a bump. I mean, it could have been a back body drop. You see, to me,
Well, yeah, that's the beauty of it. The ref still allows the blind tag if he didn't see it because he heard it.
yeah, but that's a tag, and this is a finish of a match.
It's fucking wrestling.
To me, there's got to be some logic in it here, and this was shit.
Nothing about this
Now,
show
to me,
is
if the
logical.
referee would have turned right here and he would have power bombed his dead ass and won it, that would have been, to me, you understand?
Sure.
That would have been right.
But I think it's even more heat to not do it. I would argue, well, I hate the finish, by the way. It
Yeah.
should be a TV match. It shouldn't.
Yeah.
This should not be the payoff for your biggest pay-per-view of the year.
Right. I heard a power bomb. Yeah, I did, but I didn't see it. You're going to win. I just, he should have picked him up and power bombed his ass. And it was, no, he didn't win it. He got hit with the guitar. That's why he power bombed him. That would have worked with me. But anyway, that's just us.
Swerve.
It's an ever. That's just us again, armchair booking like we like to do.
I actually like it though. Yeah, I just wish it was TV, not pay-per-view.
Okay.
Did you ever see, I know you never watched, but on the WWF, Eddie Guerrero would sometimes get in the ring with a chair when the referee had just taken a bump. And then he would take the chair and throw it to his opponent. And the opponent would catch the chair, and then Eddie would fall down. So the ref would turn around, and the ref would see the opponent holding the chair and Eddie laying down, and then Eddie would win the match by DQ.
Yeah, very cool.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah, that is smart. I'm not going to talk over this one.
Why would we?
Yeah, I don't want to. There's nothing cute I can say about this because of who it is. And but I do want to say this. We are getting near the last two matches on this pay-per-view, on this podcast. Doesn't it seem to have gone a lot faster than last week?
Well, because there's actually fucking angles and something to talk about. And, I never had a chance to go see a Starrcade live. And I really wish that I would have had an opportunity to see a Starrcade live, because if I had one, well, I would have used the SeatGeek app.
Yeah, the SeatGeek app, as we talked about earlier, is the way to do it. And if you download the SeatGeek app
For free,
and enter the promo code What Happened, that's WHATHAPPEND, then you'll get 20% off your first purchase.
$20 off, Tony. And that's a lot of money. You're talking about $20 off your single purchase,
right,
just from downloading the free SeatGeek app. And we should also mention that the app is free and the prices are ridiculous. And here's why. They compile all the ticket sites to show you the best offerings from everywhere. So instead of saying, I got to go to this site, I got to go to this site, I got to go to this site, and then I'll compare all three, don't do that. Download the SeatGeek app. They're going to do all the heavy lifting for you, find you the best deals, and they even give you a score. Right, Tony?
They give you a score, absolutely. I've loaded the SeatGeek app on my phone. It's how I got lowest tickets to go to the Rose Bowl. What I love about it, it's quick, it's safe, it's easy, and you punch. You say, I want these seats. You punch. Guess what they're going to show you? What it looks like from your seat.
That's pretty cool. So you get like a virtual shot of what your view is going to look like.
Yeah.
And to make sure you get the best value for your budget, that scoring model thing they're doing is just outstanding. I mean, they really do make it easy, and we can't recommend it enough. I used it to get my tickets for the Alabama-Clemson game. Tony used it to get his tickets for the Georgia-Oklahoma game, but you don't have to just use it for sports. You can use it for shows. You can use it for comedies, plays, musicals, concerts, whatever you're into. You should download the SeatGeek app right now for free and use this promo code. It's What Happened, and you'll get $20 off. That's What Happened, and be sure to download the SeatGeek app for free.
And if you want to go to a musical, and if you heard this song at a musical, Chicks and Ducks and Geese Better Scurry, what musical would that have been?
Download SeatGeek app in a hurry. You know where I was going.
All right. So Jeff Jarrett here has agreed to answer the challenge of Chris Benoit, who obviously was given the U.S. title by default because I guess Razor Ramon or whomever he was, Scott Hall, was injured. And we are going to see an impromptu match. But I'm going to tell you, fans, lock yourself in for this one. This is the best match on the card.
And it's not even close. And it's interesting because this is Jarrett's second match on the show.
Yeah.
He's pulling double duty here.
Yeah,
and this shows you exactly what sort of confidence that Vince Russo had in him and in the relationship these two guys had.
Yeah, and not only that, it shows you exactly what type of guy Jeff Jarrett was. To be able to, I mean, he's also did a run-in on the last match.
He's been all over this show.
Yes, he has.
It's sort of Jeff Jarrett's coming out party. And, of course, we know in the year 2000, Jarrett would become world champ and have quite a run there.
Right.
Before going on to start his own deal with TNA. And they debuted right down the road here in Huntsville.
Wow.
I don't know that you knew that. Did you know
debuted
that?
In Huntsville?
TNA's very first show was a pay-per-view on a Wednesday night right down the hill here in June of 2002. How about that? We should also mention here.
You know what?
What's that?
I was at that event.
I was too.
I was in the back with Bob Ryder, talking to Bob Ryder.
Well, how about that?
Wow.
Who would have thought that all these years later
our paths would finally meet?
You'd be up the hill at my house.
That's right.
next to my Starrcade 1997 poster.
Wow.
And E.T.
Yep.
calling a pay-per-view for hundreds of thousands of slapdicks that you've never met.
I love all of you. Oh, look at that superplex in the top by the Wolverine, Chris Benoit.
DDP beating David Flair got a star and a quarter.
Okay.
In the Observer. Sting beating the Total Package by DQ earned him a star. I guess we should mention too that these guys wrestled, talking about Sting and Lex Luger 10 years prior to this too, at Starrcade 89. 10 years later, they're still at it here.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash, that match got a negative star.
Right.
Meltzer wrote, very lame finish. Seems like this match was done just to get them on the card. No rhyme or reason for it at all, especially with a finish like that.
Oh, baseball slide kick into the. And so what did this match get?
4 stars.
Yeah. And you know what? I said earlier that anytime somebody gets 4 stars, they called Meltzer.
I don't think so here.
I don't think so here. This match earned every bit of it. This match was tremendous. And this to me, I think this match to me just showed you exactly what type of, and of course you got to have 2 to make it a great match. I understand that. And we've been singing the praises.
But Chris Benoit was next fucking level.
Yes. I was getting ready to say, it shows you exactly what Chris Benoit was.
Chris Benoit, very early on, I would say in my fandom of his, I heard Mark Madden refer to him as the best wrestler in WCW. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't doing that on TV. He was doing that on the hotline where he would say, I don't just think our best wrestler is Chris Benoit. I think he's the best wrestler in the business. And you go back and you read reviews from Dave Meltzer, and obviously before the tragedy, you would see that while, and he's always been, look at this.
Whoa,
he's already
busted
juice. Open.
Yes, sir.
And that's the hard way, by the way.
You're darn right it's the hard way. So what do you do there? Standards and practices. You stop the match.
Well, you got to shoot it.
Yeah, you got to shoot
You're on
it.
pay-per-view.
That's right.
Of course, Meltzer has always been really, really fond of Ric Flair and Bret Hart.
Yeah.
And he says even those guys could sort of phone it in and have off nights here and there, where maybe they didn't have a bad match, but they didn't have a great match. But that Benoit was consistently, night in, night out, house show TV or pay-per-view, having great matches.
Yes, he was.
And before the tragedy, he certainly influenced an entire generation. And I think you could see his influence on Monday and Tuesday, any night of the week, or any indie show, MLW.TV. There are guys who are going to work a style where they had some inspiration from some of the things they saw Chris Benoit do.
Yeah. His tragedy is a horrible tragedy on many levels. And obviously with Nancy and their son, it's a horrible tragedy. Another part of this horrible tragedy is what Chris Benoit could mean to the business today. What he could do to help young guys today.
It's the worst thing that's ever happened in wrestling, is it not?
It is, by far. It's number one. The worst thing.
There's always been, and I guess we should apologize for referring to this as a tragedy, because clearly it's not something that happened to Chris Benoit, it's something he did. Mm-hmm. But it happened, and we've never really had this discussion before, Tony, you and I. But that whole thing happened a handful of years before we really knew anything about CTE.
Right.
And given some of the things we saw Benoit do over the years with the top rope headbutt, and of course he's going to do one off this ladder in a little while, and the chair shots, and just this hard style that he was working, you've got to feel like Benoit was certainly a victim of CTE.
No question. There was no concussion protocol back then like there is now. And take a look at what we're seeing. And think about
a car crash.
Yes, it's a car crash. This was just one of many that he did.
Right. One of thousands.
Yeah, one of thousands. Absolutely.
And we should also mention, it's weird for us to have a conversation about this because I feel like I have to just qualify everything.
Yeah.
We're not trying to get sympathy for Chris Benoit, and we're not trying to explain or excuse his behavior.
No.
But it is something that I think all of us have tried to understand.
Yeah.
Like, because I never met Chris Benoit, but Bruce Pritchard tells me that this was a guy who would traipse through airports in Europe for an entire tour with big toys that wouldn't fit in a suitcase that he got for his kids, Amber and Kane.
Yeah.
And he would carry this giant, like, horse statue thing that he got Amber.
Yeah.
And he would carry it through thousands and thousands of miles for an entire European tour, until he could personally see her in Houston to give her this doll.
Yeah.
And that's sort of who he was, to the point that it was his son's favorite wrestler, and his son had a pair of Chris Benoit tights, and he loved them so much that he slept with the tights like it's his favorite wrestler.
Sure.
And they would play around the arena, and
Yeah.
And so then to sort of have all of that happen, and then just a few months later,
Yeah.
this all go down the way
Sure.
it does, it's really hard to reconcile that in your mind.
Well, I knew Chris not closely, not like I did a Ric Flair or an Arn Anderson, who are, as you know by now, are my friends in the business. But I knew Chris well enough to know that he was as mild-mannered and as friendly and an easygoing guy in the backstage area. But when the bell rang, he was the Wolverine. And that's why this was always such a head scratcher with me, that it's a horrible, and we're talking about this tragedy, and it was a tragedy. We're talking about this as we're seeing these guys just bust their ass.
If you're able to still watch a Chris Benoit match, I recommend this one as
Yes.
one that you've probably forgotten about.
Yeah, you should.
You know, lots of folks are going to recommend other Chris Benoit matches because he certainly had better matches, but this match saved the whole show to me, and was a great example of, as you said, showing, you know, just how well-rounded Benoit was and what he was capable of.
Yeah.
He threw his body into everything that he did.
Yes, he did.
Everything was meaningful, and of course, Jarrett is the perfect foil for that, because Jarrett is old school enough to have a lot of psychology in everything he does. So they're not just taking bumps for the sake of taking them.
Exactly. Jarrett has blood up against his face, and I believe that's Benoit's blood, not his, as he tries to go up here. So, again, I think the fans were pretty much into this, but I think they were kind of shocked at what they were seeing as well, because this was two guys risking life and limb.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
I feel like now would be a good time, while we've got just a few minutes, to cruise on over to Facebook. That's facebook.com/WHW Monday. And we've invited people to participate in the conversation and ask questions. And we want you to do that next week. Of course, we're going to be covering the Nitro right before Starrcade 1997. So if you have some questions, cruise on over to Facebook.
Wow. Okay. I'm sorry. That bump off the ladder was tremendous.
You know, and I know a lot of people are going to be upset that we're not calling this match right here, but it is a little weird to do it for Benoit. We've had plenty of Benoit discussion.
Yeah.
We've put over the match. If you want to go see it, please do. But it's also something we're not able to sort of laugh at and make fun of, because it's a really good match.
Yeah.
Let's do some Facebook questions while we're watching this one. How's that?
Okay, and I do want to pause.
Sure.
While I want to pause and show the big bump off the ladder when it comes.
Oh, of course.
Okay, so go ahead.
Jared Sutton wants to go. How do you sell Norman Smiley going over Ming in a hardcore match?
How do you sell it?
Yeah.
You do your fucking job, dude.
He also wants to know, why in the world was Medusa booked to wrestle a man?
Yeah, well, again, it goes back to what happened with China in the WWE.
Matthew Clarkson wants to know, and we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit with this. Did Tony notice Bret was messed up, or did he not see it?
I didn't see it.
Look at this right here. So he rolls right through the ladder underneath.
Right. Yeah.
And then comes back, bounces off the ropes, kicks the ladder into him.
Yeah.
He's going to set the ladder up
Here
and go to
comes.
the top. And I think everybody assumes, I mean, it's a ladder match.
Right.
Grab the belt.
Exactly.
And he sort of takes a page out of Jeff Hardy's book.
Right.
And instead, and we should mention that this is just 2 months after the crazy tables, ladders, and chairs match in the WWF. Does the throat slash, and here comes the headbutt.
My God.
Little CTE for you. In hindsight, there's no telling what sort of damage.
Now, realistically, you can kind of protect yourself. You hit your chest first. Protect your head if you want, but there's no way to really protect it that much from coming off the top.
Well, your brain is in fluid, so
Right.
when it's moving back and forth,
regardless of what hits, it's going to jerk it.
Absolutely.
And there he becomes the U.S. heavyweight champion, or holds on to the U.S. heavyweight title. The fans erupt
As they should.
because of what they've seen.
And by the way, they didn't have a ton of time. I mean, but they weren't short on time.
Mm-hmm.
That's about as good of a match as you can have in that situation, I think.
As you said it right, Conrad, saved the event.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I think Scott Hudson said it's one for the ages, and he was right. And a pat on the back to Jeff Jarrett as well. Out of the bunkhouse match into a ladder match.
I mean, he was the Iron Man here.
Yes, he was.
And here's your replay.
Yeah. Kicking that. Look at that fall, man. Jesus.
Serious bump off the ladder. And then, of course, just the dive right off the top.
Yeah.
Harley Race, Dynamite Kid style. Sprawls all the way out. And then pops right back up. Climbs the ladder again. U.S. champion, Crippler, Chris Benoit.
All right. So there it is.
Can you imagine? I mean, he'd be the head trainer at NXT right now, would he not?
Yeah, he would. If he'd wanted to be. If he wanted to be. Amazing performer. Amazing performer and just a horrible
the most
story.
Fucked up story
Ever.
in the history of wrestling.
Yeah.
Who called and told you?
Scott Hudson did.
Really?
Yeah, I was driving to the airport, and he told me.
Did he just say they were dead, or did he know the whole story then?
He just said they were dead. That Nancy was dead, and Chris was dead, and their son was dead. And I'd been out of the business long enough to not even know that Nancy and Chris had a son.
I see.
So,
well, let's go back to the pay-per-view. We'll get back to our Facebook questions. So we've got sort of an interesting match here where, for whatever reason, Goldberg's not figured into the title match, and Bret Hart becomes the champion. They become reluctant tag team partners, but become successful and actually win the tag titles. But the match is sort of built here on mutual respect. Roddy Piper here is down to count them as the winners, and they win the tag titles from Standards and Practices. And now Bret is a dual champion, both tag champ and world champ. And that happened on Thunder. Of course, they're trying to get some attention over there.
right.
The Outsiders really want those belts back, and they're going to be trying to challenge for the tag team titles. And we know how that ends, of course. The Outsiders are successful, and it shows a little bit of the chink in the armor in their partnership when it looks like Bret has been attacked backstage. And so now Goldberg is going to be in a spot where he feels like he has to still defend the titles. So he's going to go out there by himself, 2-on-1 against both of the Outsiders. Normally, the whole 2-on-1 thing is something Goldberg would look cool doing, but they don't make it work here because Kevin Nash gets a pin over Bret Hart, who had limped out to try to help. And the jackhammer wasn't enough for Scott Hall. He didn't manage to get the pin in time. And I feel like this promo is a little bit of a miss because we've sort of got two baby faces and we know what's going to happen eventually.
Right.
But two baby faces who respect each other. Is that really what you want on your headline of the biggest show? Don't you want a more heated issue?
You would think you would. But another flip side of this is that Goldberg is over, like, as we know, and Bret Hart is one of the biggest stars ever. So to me, there's a lot of intrigue in this match. In a much smaller way, okay? Much smaller way as Hogan and Ultimate Warrior.
I knew you were going to say that.
Okay.
Well, but here's my point. That's the worst drawing WrestleMania at the time. You know, downloads died, or listen to me talking podcast-wise. The buy rate died from 5 to 6. And Vince blamed it being babyface versus babyface.
Okay.
And then 12 was a bit of a disappointment. And again, that was babyface versus babyface.
Right.
It feels like for your big pay-per-views, the precedent's been set. You need a heated issue. You need a babyface. You need a heel. You need someone to boo. And these guys were, I respect you. Well, I respect you too. Well, I'm better. Well, I disagree.
Yeah.
It's a little like, now, of course, we know what's going to happen eventually, but even that doesn't really happen on this show. In hindsight, this pay-per-view feels like the nail in the coffin for WCW to me. I know you said that the beginning of the end was Starrcade 97, and we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. But that pay-per-view did monster business, and you guys would go on in 1998 to break that record with Bash at the Beach and Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman. But by this point, you know, this is a year after you beat Goldberg. It really feels like, fuck, this is the end.
Yeah.
It's sort of interesting, too, in hindsight, you know, to see that Bret Hart's the champion. He's coming out first.
Yeah, because Goldberg was really the star.
I get that, and I'm not upset about that.
Okay.
Talk to me about the presentation here of Bret Hart in WCW, and We get lots of requests to break this down, but Bret's coming out without the leather jacket.
Yep.
He doesn't have sunglasses to give a kid in the crowd.
Right.
He's not carrying the Canadian flag.
Yeah.
It just feels like there's a lot to be desired still about the WCW presentation of Bret Hart. Why do you think some of those gimmicks that we've come to know and associate with Bret Hart aren't present here?
That's a good question. We were perceived as WWE light back then.
Well, but my point is, I mean, Hulk Hogan, he didn't say, all right, brother, it's a new company, so no bandana. Let's
Right.
get new colors.
Right.
And
Right,
fuck
right.
ripping the t-shirt.
Right. Well, maybe they wanted him to do it and he didn't want to do it.
It just feels like,
It feels odd.
well, and,
Yeah.
and Eric Bischoff has been critical of Bret and said that Bret came in unmotivated
Uh-huh.
and was sort of half-assing it. And of course, Bret has said that Eric Bischoff is the biggest cockroach in the history of the business and he's scum and yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
Who had no business being in the business. But when I see this and I see that Bret's here with no sunglasses and no leather jacket, it does feel a little bit like,
That he's
are they sabotaging him or is he half-assing it?
yeah, which is who's right here, right?
The door is now about to explode with Goldberg, and we see when he comes out, he's got nicks on his head.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we've already talked about this too much, but given what we know about CTE, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
Now, he didn't know that, of course, at this point.
No.
But he just did it on Raw, about a year ago.
Yeah, he's nuts.
And locked himself loopy before a promo.
Right.
I don't understand the motivation for, before I go out here and have to remember all my moves, let me give myself a concussion.
Yeah, that's true. But maybe he just gigged himself and hit the door with his hand.
Well, he didn't.
Okay.
I mean, look at him.
All right.
The only reason I mention this is he's about to end Bret Hart's career. And I guess I'm wondering if he wasn't a fucking idiot and didn't concuss himself
Yeah.
on purpose backstage, would he have been as likely to have ended Bret Hart's career this night?
I think so.
You think he would have been just as likely?
Oh yeah. I mean, look, Goldberg was an absolute monster that was completely, when the bell rang and he was ready to wrestle, I put it this way, right here, right now, if I would have walked up to Bill during this entrance, say, Bill, how you doing? He probably would have knocked the shit out of me. That's how he was. He was he turned into
a guy
this
just
monster.
walked by the camera as you were shooting.
Really?
Like just now, I know
Yeah.
you're looking at me and our listeners can't see that, but
Yeah.
in the middle of seeing Goldberg lost in the sparks,
Yeah.
a guy just a staffer walked right in front of the
That's
camera.
great. That's us. But anyway, he turned into this monster. He turned into he's crazy now. He's absolutely crazy now, and that's why.
Tom Petty's right there on the right. Look at that.
How about Tom? How about that?
Goldberg won't back down, but Bret Hart should have.
All right, I want you, and fans probably know this. I want you to tell me the moment to when he ended Bret Hart's career.
It's a mule kick.
Okay.
You'll see it.
All right.
And I'll be honest, when you see it back, relative to some of the other things we've seen,
Yeah.
through the course of us calling matches together here over the last year and sort of reviewing some of this stuff, it doesn't look that bad.
Right.
But again, we're not ever really privy to what's a shoot and what's a work, because if it's really well done, it looks like it connects every time.
Sure.
Well, this clearly connects, but you're not sure, is Bret selling or what?
Right.
And of course, we got our answer.
Wow.
It's sort of an interesting deal because Bret Hart, to so many people, he's their absolute favorite wrestler. And he was their favorite wrestler at a time when the business was very much down. He was on top when business was down, and before it got white hot, he was here in WCW and things just weren't really the same. And, Bret sort of said his piece and Eric said his piece. If you had to come down on one side or the other, would you say that this is more of WCW didn't know what to do with him, or Bret Hart was unmotivated and sort of phoning it in?
I always say that we didn't know what to do with people. So I would err on that side.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because you say you don't know what to do with people, but then Hulk Hogan has his best years here, and Bill Goldberg has his best years here.
Right.
And I know I just cited 2 examples, but even a Kevin Nash and a Scott Hall, some of these guys had their best runs in WCW.
Right.
So I don't know necessarily that we don't know what to do with people is fair.
Okay. I'll give you that one.
Well, I mean, at the same time, though, Vince McMahon himself, in negotiations with Bret Hart, said WCW wouldn't know what to do with a Bret Hart.
Mm-hmm.
And in hindsight, it's hard to say that he was wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Let's go to Facebook.
Okay.
Michael wants to know, Bret wasn't the same after the incident. I remember attending a Thunder taping in Buffalo where he wrestled Terry Funk. Bret taking unprotected garbage can shots to the head. He didn't know which end was up. It's interesting. It's the 3rd time now we're talking about it.
Yeah.
How little we knew about head trauma.
Yeah.
For him to continue to work matches and hardcore matches after this.
Yeah. And that's why kids these days should be so careful with this. Jesus.
Lee Potter wants to know, do you wish Goldberg kicked you in the head rather than having to watch this? No, that would be Starrcade 91.
Yes, right. Yeah, absolutely.
This question is for Conrad. Which number is greater, Goldberg's winning streak or the number of times you and Bruce have replayed Bret's head getting kicked into the 5th row? I don't know why people think I hate Bret Hart. I don't hate Bret Hart. I had a Bret Hart action figure as a kid.
Yeah.
I went to a house show as a kid and got Bret Hart sunglasses. I'm not anti Bret Hart. I just, I don't always co-sign people's bullshit. And sometimes Bret has some bullshit, and that's okay. How about this? Muscling Bret up.
Yep. Wow.
By the way, nothing about that looked working. Everything about that looked like what you were talking about.
Yeah.
For real.
Right, for real. The monster's been unleashed. And this is, I was trying to remember and trying to think about what move hurt Bret Hart. I thought this was the one. I thought that slam right there was the one that hurt him.
No.
Because that was pretty stiff.
Lots of questions on here about, do you think the fate of WCW might have been different if Bret had been in good working condition for all of 2001?
No. WCW was bound to fail, Bret Hart in condition or not.
Dave wants to know, were there any plans to reveal the powers that be?
No, not at all.
Justin wants to know, did Norman Smiley ever offer to give Tony the big wiggle?
If he had, I would have taken it.
Ryan Brown wants to know, how did Billy Kidman pull off getting Torrie Wilson?
I don't know. He must be hung like a horse. I don't know. Jesus. That's one of the mysteries of life, isn't it?
It is. Brendan wants to know, who thought it would be a good idea to bring back the Varsity Club in 99?
That would have been Vince Russo.
James says, Sting turned heel in September of 99 and aligned himself with Luger. By November, they're feuding, and Sting is back as a babyface. What went wrong with Sting's heel turn in 1999?
Just it wasn't money, I guess.
I think the answer is Sting was not a good heel.
Well, yeah, I think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, I think Sting and Steamboat, those guys are just better as babyfaces.
They're babyfaces, absolutely.
Matt says, seems odd that in 97, the Stampede alum were what was best for business, and by the year 2000, it was over. Did the industry excise them, or is this just results of a horrible turn of events and age? It's clearly a horrible turn of events.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think anybody planned Owen's tragic death.
No, my goodness.
What was the reaction backstage after the Goldberg Bret Hart match? Was there heat on Goldberg for being so sloppy?
I was gone. Again, Conrad, well known. I left. I never stayed backstage to see what was going on. I ran to my car. So,
what were the plans for Bret after this win?
I have no idea what the plans were for him. You'd have to ask members of the booking committee.
I believe, thank you for working that in.
Yeah.
I think the gist is they're going to bring back the NWO, and Bret's going to be the leader, and it's going to be Goldberg versus the new NWO. And
okay.
Bret's the leader.
Well, they turned Goldberg heel, and I guess maybe they turned Goldberg heel because Bret was hurt, right?
Yep. Tyler wants to know, was Ming frustrated backstage with the way he was booked?
Is this coming up here?
No.
That's not it?
No.
Okay.
Roger Spurrin wants to know if you'll play F, Marry, Kill with Evan Courageous, Tom Zenk, and Rey Mysterio.
Okay. I would kill Evan Courageous.
Of course, we knew that.
Kill Evan Courageous and kill Evan Courageous.
Okay.
Okay.
John wants to know, why didn't Flair use the baby arm as a finish?
Please. Next question.
How annoyed was Tony to see Medusa having to work with nothing happening to Evan Courageous?
I don't know. Wow. How annoyed was I seeing? I was annoyed every time I watched Evan Courageous, with or without Medusa.
How hostile was the Revolution guys at this period? It's not too far from their exit.
Hostile?
Yeah, of course, we're not too terribly far away from those guys being upset with the creative and that Kevin Sullivan's back and they're out of here and requesting their release.
Yeah.
Do you recall there being a lot of rumblings of them being unhappy here?
No, not at all. Not at all. I need to make this very clear with everybody, and I appreciate these questions. I'll answer them as honestly as I can. But I did not walk around the locker room and I didn't. I know there was a bunch of stooges in the business. I never thought I was one of them, but I did not walk around the locker room. We had our own locker rooms and listen to what the boys had to say. I didn't. The boys can only answer that.
Jeremy wants to know, why on earth would anyone approve of the Oklahoma gimmick?
Yeah, well, again, that was, it was my feeling, and I think I'm right about this, that Ed and Vince Russo, did not care a lot at all with JR. There was some heat there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Well, they felt like he undermined them.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. How was that met with the boys? Did anybody have a problem? Did anybody say,
no,
hey, I don't know if this is a good idea?
No.
When the character was portrayed on TV, did you think enough of JR to call and give him a heads up or say you're sorry?
I didn't know it was coming until the day of.
So did you call him after?
No, I didn't.
No, just fuck him?
No, I wanted to stay. I didn't want to get in the middle of this shit. Does that make any sense to you?
Right. What was the reaction backstage to Bret Hart's head injury? Of course, you didn't know at this point because you were out of here.
Yeah.
But when you first hear, hey, Bret's not feeling himself.
Yeah.
Is there any heat on Goldberg that you know of at any point for
that? From Bret Hart, yes.
But we should mention that he's since forgiven him and said it's not his fault. It's WCW's fault for not properly training Goldberg because Bill didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And, he obviously has changed his tune on that over the years. And Goldberg has said that he feels very, very guilty about it. And obviously if he could do it over again, he would.
Right.
In no way was this intentional.
No, of course not.
But it was very much sloppy and could have been prevented.
Yeah. There's been a lot of moves throughout the years that have been sloppy and could have been prevented.
Absolutely. I'm not saying this is the worst injury in history.
No, but it's one of the more famous ones because of what it did to one of the greats' careers. But still, there have been a lot of those moves that have been done, and I don't know if blaming WCW for this is correct or not. I mean, it's easy to. I mean, even with proper training, a guy like Bill Goldberg, who when the lights went on was a completely another person.
Shit's going to happen.
Shit's going to happen. I don't know.
Nathaniel wants to know how much of the show changed from that morning to the first bell. Do you know?
No, I don't think any of it did.
Sorry. Did Sid and Nash get along?
I'm not so sure anybody got along with Sid.
Scott wants to know, who had the bigger wiggle, Norman Smiley or Klondike Bill?
Norman Smiley did. I don't know how much wiggle Klondike did except with his tongue. How about that for an answer, huh?
We've got 12 matches on this show, I think. How crazy is that?
Yeah, well, it's better than having a bunch of matches that mean nothing.
Arthur wants to know, would the evening have gone differently if Lash LaRue weren't such a fat fuck?
Oh, God. Lash LaRue.
Gabriel wants to know, why are you always defending Russo? Rewatch his October 99 to January 2000 shows and tell me that's good TV.
Okay. Who was that from?
That's from Gabriel.
Gabriel, did you ever work with Russo?
No, he did not.
Okay, then how the fuck do you know?
Michael Haynes wants to know, what was Bret's feeling working with Goldberg?
Bret's feeling working with Goldberg, I think he was concerned because of how stiff he was. I mean, we all knew leading up to this match he was, but he was a pro and he was still willing to go in there and do it. Is this mule kick going to come near the end here?
Yeah.
Okay. Referee goes down.
Second ref bump.
Second ref bump we had. We're going to end up having 3 ref bumps. And the fans are calling for it here.
Here it is.
Here it is.
That's it.
Wow.
That move, and you see him grabbing his face, that ended his career effectively.
Wow.
And changed the course of his life forever.
Uh-huh.
And you can see slow to rise, but you wonder, is he selling? And then, boom, another.
And then the spear. Mule kick and then the spear. Think Goldberg realized what he'd done here?
No.
I don't think so either.
I don't think there's any chance.
Yeah.
You know, Rich has the best question of the night. He wants to know, did WCW ever consider a Lois on a pole match?
No. That would have been a good one, though.
So now we see a very stern-faced Roddy Piper walking very slowly to the ring. And, of course, Piper was the referee on Thunder a few weeks back when these guys won the tag titles. He counted them down as the winner as they beat standards and practices.
Yeah.
And Bret here is going to try to go for a submission. He's going for the sharpshooter. As soon as he rolls him over, Piper calls for the bell.
Right.
And we're sort of recreating again for the 900th time the Montreal screw job. And Bret's won with the sharpshooter, even though it's obvious Goldberg didn't quit. Goldberg stands right up.
Right.
Piper jumps off the ring apron with the belt, almost loses it because his knee was unstable.
Right.
And to my surprise, he just walks out with the belt. And right as he gets to the entrance, he's going to turn around
and give the belt.
Bret says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And Piper just hands him the belt. And the show's going to go off the air.
Let's go straight to black.
With Goldberg really confused in the ring, and the fans are confused, and everyone acknowledges that they haven't seen a tap or a finish, and they go to black.
Right.
And that's how your biggest pay-per-view of the year, your version of WrestleMania, Starrcade, goes off the air. Tony?
It's kind of like a Sopranos finish, isn't it? The last episode of Sopranos.
And how did people like that?
Yeah, they shit on it. It just went to black, and everybody goes, "What happened? What happened?" I don't know if you. I know you remember the finale of Sopranos. I thought my cable went out.
Right.
And we just went to black right there with us talking. So it was bad. It was a bad ending. It was an absolute bad ending. Some good things happened during the match, during the event, but overall it was bad. So, but I lived it, boys and girls. I was a part of that bullshit. And yes, my work wasn't that good back then, but we weren't that good back then.
Meltzer gave it 2 3/4 stars. And as you remember, Bret won the world title the prior month at Mayhem. We did a show about that if you want to hear it in the archives. And I think
one in Canada.
I think everybody remembers back in '99 when Bret called out Goldberg and he was wearing like the metal plate under his hockey jersey. That was pretty awesome. And then they wrestled the night after Halloween Havoc for Goldberg's newly won U.S. title. So these guys had worked together a few times, including, as we mentioned, that tag match. And there was a lot of talk that they were going to try to set up a Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart match here. Of course, we know that never really happens.
Right.
And that's sort of the end of Bret Hart's WCW run. Of course, we see a little bit here or there after, but he's never the same.
Yeah.
And Bret has written in his book that before the match happened, he says before they go out, whatever you do, don't hurt me. Did you ever hear that?
No.
He's compared the kick, or he says the forearm in the corner early in the match left him dazed, and he compared it to swinging a pillowcase full of bricks.
Wow.
And he says that Goldberg said to him, "Sorry, brother," when he realized how hard he hit him. And he's supposed to, he points out that when he did the figure 4 around the post, that Goldberg was actually supposed to grab Bret's foot to stop Bret's momentum.
Right.
So Bret wouldn't hit his head on the concrete on the floor.
Right.
Well, of course, he didn't grab Bret's foot, so Bret winds up hitting himself on the concrete on the floor. And here's how he lays out the kick. Bret wrote, "I snapped a boot into his knee, fired him into the ropes, and as he reversed me, I heard him call, 'Watch the kick.' I had no idea what kind of kick he meant, and there wasn't much room coming off the ropes. Goldberg was standing right in the middle of the ring, standing sideways to me, and his right foot flew just under my right hand, which I thrown up in an attempt to shield my face. Wham! I felt like someone chopped me with a hockey stick, and an agonizing blow that sent me crashing to the mat, where I lay holding my neck just behind my right ear at the base of my skull. I was thinking, I've got to get up for the finish, but I don't remember what it is. I got up just in time for Goldberg to spear tackle me like someone was running over me with a car. I was dazed and glassy-eyed. My neck was killing me. The dressing room was almost empty because the boys had rushed to beat the crowd out of the building, except for Roddy and the WCW trainer, Danny Young. I told Danny I hurt my neck, and he apologized because all he had was a few packs of Advil." Bret says he was slurring his speech right after the match, and he wrote, "When he staggered through the sliding doors of the Marriott, fans who would usually stampede over just to get pictures and autographs stopped in their tracks. They could clearly see something wasn't right." He says that the hotel lobby that night was a blur and that the rooms were spinning, and he dropped his bag off and passed out at the bed. It's
wow.
He says that the kick left a hole in the side of his neck that will never heal. And of course, the next night on Nitro, he forfeited the title and had a rematch with Goldberg, beat him again, this time by pinfall when the Outsiders interfered, and they, of course, reformed the NWO with Bret and Jarrett as the new members to the Outsiders. And he called that match flat, and obviously it didn't do great business. It only did 4,500 tickets. And then over in Mobile, they did 1,797 tickets. So business was down way, way, way down after this. And even the next night on Raw, by comparison, Raw got a 5.8 rating. Nitro, the night after Starrcade, only got a 3.2.
Yeah, it's still a pretty good number.
No, it's not a bad number, but when you're in competition, it feels like half, and it's just not the same. Right. Bret had his last match on January 10th, 2000 on Nitro against Kevin Nash. When this comes out that he's hurt and this is going to be his last match for a while, I don't think anybody knew forever.
Right.
Did you think this is something he'd be back from in a month, 2 months, 3 months?
No, I didn't.
You thought this was it?
I thought it was it, yeah.
Really?
From all I had heard, you know.
Did you ever have a conversation with Goldberg about that kick?
Never did. No.
Bret attributes the damage from that kick as one of the reasons he had his stroke in 2002. Do you buy into that?
Did the doctors tell him that? Or is that just him saying that?
I'm not sure.
I mean, there's so many, a stroke is such a weird thing from all I understand. How can you point to one thing? A stroke a lot of times is high blood pressure. And it has a lot to do with, a lot of times a stroke has a lot to do with your medical condition, not any blows that you've taken. So I think I would think, from what I know, it'd be very hard to say that. If the doctors told him that, then I'm wrong. So I don't know.
You know, I know a lot of people talk about Goldberg just sort of running roughshod over everybody in WCW, but Goldberg had 3 singles matches with Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Bret's 3-0 against Goldberg.
How about that?
Of course, we said, Goldberg's very remorseful about what happened. And I guess we should mention, as we sort of put a bow on this week's episode, Meltzer wrote this about Starrcade 99. There's no indication that things look bright for the company. Privately within the company, there's been an admission that the company is actually closer in popularity now to ECW than it is to the WWF. Obviously, there is some feeling that the hiring of Vince Russo now was a big mistake, while those who didn't want him in the first place are arguing his concepts aren't working and they need to cut their losses. There's clearly an opinion that getting rid of him after 2 or 3 months wouldn't be fair. The company is still not doing what would be considered good ratings for most shows on cable. WCW should be the #1 wrestling organization in the world, and just 18 months ago, it was. It's now no secret why it isn't. How can it get there again is a lot more of a mystery.
All right. Why did he say WCW should be?
Well, I'm sure
because of the talent?
Because of the talent and because of the carte blanche that you guys had with the cable networks. I mean, you had a real relationship with a powerhouse cable network. You're backed by a legit billionaire. Yeah. So you've got unlimited resources behind you, unlimited access to cable channels, and arguably one of the best rosters in the history of wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I never thought we should be the best. I always thought Vince should have been the best. Again, it goes back to this simple matter. I've said it many times, and I know I'm going to throw it at everybody's face. It was his money.
Yeah.
He was playing with his money. We were playing with somebody else's money.
That's the thing that I always point to that is always going to be the difference between Vince McMahon and WCW. WCW was able to make some deals and cut some deals and manage their finances, where the people who were making those decisions didn't necessarily make more or less based on those decisions.
Right.
And if Vince could keep costs low and keep gross revenue high, Vince made a shit ton more money. Right. Eric Bischoff is going to make pretty much the same money. Now, there may be some different incentives here or there, but it's not all strictly tied to just profitability.
Right. Give you another example. A guy is pissed off in the WWF or WWE. Who does he call?
Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon. A guy's pissed off in the WCW. Who does he call? He tries to call Ted Turner. Does Turner take his call? No. He points you to Eric Bischoff. And don't think a lot of guys didn't try to call Ted Turner. And they all turned away. So there.
Well, there you go. There's the end of Starrcade 1999. And I guess we should put a bow on this week's episode, Tony, and ask, where do you rank Starrcade 99 all time amongst the Starrcades?
The Starrcades, it would be in the bottom third.
Where would Starrcade 91 be?
It would be dead last.
So there you go. We talked about the best of times and the worst of times on this show. And coming up next week, we're going to get to something really, really good. It's the go home edition of Nitro, just in time for Starrcade 97. Join us on Christmas Day, which will be kind of fun. Christmas Day is when we'll be covering that. Now, the pay-per-view, or the show you want to watch rather, is December 22nd, 1997. And don't forget to set your calendars. December 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern, we're going to cover one of, if not the biggest show in WCW history, Starrcade 97.
Wow.
I'm excited about that.
I'm excited about it too.
And I bet you didn't know this whole time you've been in my house. There it is. Framed in my home theater. I'm excited about it.
And as I'm looking up to the left, Sting is looking right to my soul.
And that feels like a nice time for us to say that I am at Hey, it's Conrad. You are at Tony Schiavone 24, and we are out of time.
We're out of time, but now we've got Daphne going up against Lois Schiavone in a nuts match. Two of the most out of control women in the world, and they are going to do the boob bump. The boob bump. The boob bump. Back and forth. We're out of time.
We gotta go. The tape machines are rolling.
Boob bump. Tom Zenk, Tom Zenk, let me tell you why he's the best of all the guys. Tom Zenk, Tom Zenk, with his thunderbolt grease slapper once he's on your tail.
He won't quit because to him there's no such word as fail with Tom Zenk. Bum, 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 bum. Tom Zenk. Da, 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 da.
The world of MLW Radio never stops.